it!
This is it! This is it! Your career's on the line here! Do it! Do it! This place will erupt when he picks him up!
He's got him up! Oh, hell yeah! 1, 2, 3!
Thank you! Thank you! We've got a new heavyweight champion!
Climb the ladder, kid! Make yourself famous! I just had an out-of-body experience! What did we just see? What did we just see?
He got him in a power slam! He got him in a power slam! He got it! Simmons got it! Simmons has won the match! Simmons is a champion!
I've always maintained that reality is for people who can't face drugs.
Shit is about to get real.
You get to see your knee. Shit.
Look at the stare of the champion against the challenger.
What?
And now, Straight Talk Society presents Wrestling with Reality.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
It's going to be the biggest battleground in the history of our sport. The biggest match in pro wrestling history.
The two biggest superstars in our sport in the biggest event the sport has ever seen. The biggest match in the history of our sport.
Trying to run a little scalded dog here. Enough is enough. That's enough. No! Oh, God, that's enough! Stop it! Bam! Listen, it's tougher than a $2 steak. Who is your daddy? Who's your daddy, Undertaker? Slam! Choke slam! Who's your daddy, Undertaker? Lucifer's lips are the biggest eyes in the WWE! Somebody stop this! Somebody stop the damn match! Enough's enough!
What?
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
Simmons got it real! Woo!
WWE Dynamite.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time. Let's rock.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
So to escape from reality?
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
I am reality.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Oh, it's live, Hal.
Let the slaughter begin!
It is now time for
With reality.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Junior, look at this.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
number one to be the man, baby. You have to beat the man. Heavyweight champion of the world. The time is now. Reality has become the present, and the final lesson of the pain game has begun. Have you ever heard a choke like that in your life?
You are gonna wrestle my ass for the world title! You will have to kill me to keep me from killing you! Woo!
The 90s have been referred to as the reckoning with truth. In the 80s, everything was clouded. Nobody ever told the truth. In the 90s, the way to go is flat out. Tell no lies. That's the way we're gonna do it. When you hear something from our lips, truth it may be, and as much as it may hurt, you can count on it being exactly the way that it is.
We want the gold, sucker! Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga!
Oh, that is always so funny. What is up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Wrestling with Reality. I do see one of my co-hosts in the back, MD, as we wait on Venkat. Let me just go ahead and get MD up right now. Him and his Him and his Hello Ice avatar. What's up, MD?
Peace. What's going on? What's happening?
Oh, not a damn thing. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear myself for nothing.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where Venkat is. He's probably still at work, but nevertheless, I know he'll hop on when he gets situated. So we do have what ended up being like a longer show than what I planned, with us not being here last week. Shout out to those of you watching over on Twitter, man. Y'all go ahead and there's no like button over there, but I would appreciate if you guys would come on over and hit the like button on YouTube, but I guess it's easier to watch it over there. So appreciate you for watching nevertheless. So where today is the episode 65 of Wrestling with Reality, and we'll be discussing the WWF Ring Boy scandal, which one of the stories that I got to talk about today kind of leads into that. So it's just one thing after another. So before we get into that, let me just let you guys know what's coming up. So I did have a show planned for next Thursday. Not next Thursday, next Wednesday was the Survivor Series preview show, but I went ahead and canceled it just for the fact that it's the day before Thanksgiving, and I know I'm not gonna want to be doing anything. I'm gonna have a big gigantic bird that I'm gonna be prepping for the next day, so I just went ahead and just canceled that show. But we do have scheduled the watch party for War Games, which is that Saturday. The show starts, I want to say the show starts about 6. So I have the watch party scheduled for 8. And it is for the main event War Games, the Bloodline, the Civil War Games, not the ladies War Games match. So we'll be doing a live watch along for that. And then we'll be taking a break until January. So, and I do have the first show scheduled for January to be January 8th, because that'll coincide with the first. That's you or me, MD?
What happened?
The scratching.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't hear nothing.
Okay.
It may have been me. I'll mute out because I'm still driving.
Oh, all right. Yeah, the first show that I have scheduled for when we get back in January, I think it's January 8th, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll be doing our end of the year awards, our end of the year awards show for 2024. So that's kind of where we are right now. The last pay-per-view for WWE is Survivor Series, and then they have the Saturday night's main event scheduled. I want to say that's December 14th, but that's just a late night special, so that's really nothing to be doing anything about. But I see Venkat just popped on, so I did cancel next week's show just because it is the day before Thanksgiving and I'm going to be busy. So I'm not going to be on talking about War Games. We'll be doing the actual watch party for the War Games that Saturday, so everybody can enjoy their long weekend. And then just so you guys who only come over for the Wednesday stuff, that for the holidays I do take a break to kind of reset and evaluate things. So this is going to be no different. This will be the last Wrestling with Reality show until Sunday, the watch party, and then the end of the year awards show January. So we'll be coming off of the January 6th episode of Monday Night Raw, which will be the first Monday Night Raw on Netflix. So let's start right there. Hold on, because I really can't hear myself, and I don't like that. Hold on. All right, now I can hear myself. All right, now I feel like I'm talking. What's up, Venkat?
What's going on? We looking for some lame ducks.
You look at, well, come on, man. Let's just cue everybody in. That the lame duck was picked at the beginning of the year. Because if we'll watch the show and we'll go through all the pomp and circumstance and all that, but we know when it comes down to the end, because it's like how I picked the champion for who the champions for the debates that we do over here. I just go back and I look at all the records, and pretty much you could tell, who the overwhelming winner is. So we know if we go back to 2024's TFP, we might as well rename it to like Trump fuck policy or some shit like that, because that's what it's gonna be. I mean, spoiler alert, but that's what it's gonna be.
Hey, you never know. I mean, last year Ricardo and Mike got me thinking different, so you never know.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy literally was a lame duck. What, we had 52 weeks, and you took what, maybe 4 weeks off. He was literally, he was at least lame duck for maybe 40 weeks. Literally. So, I mean, if he doesn't win it, then I would say something's wrong. So I did mention the January 6th episode of Raw coming up. So this past Friday, you did have the Netflix fight, the rigged fight with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So the only reason I want to bring this up is because Venkat did make a note that, Raw's coming up. How's it going to be? And all the memes are out showing the old 8-bit characters of like Tecmo Bowl and stuff like that. So my contention is this. Amazon said it was 60 million people watching. And at one point, Netflix. And at one point, they had it clocked in at 108. Monday Night Raw wishes. That's all I'm going to say. They wish. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. I mean, the 2 to 3 million people that's going to be watching Raw is not going to affect Netflix servers at all. I don't think so.
All I know is Peacock never had this problem. Little old Peacock never had this problem.
So
and WrestleMania is a bigger deal than Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
For us,
it's friggin' WrestleMania, man. Don't even start.
WrestleMania, but we'll never know what the numbers are. I think on the WWE network, I think the most they got at one time was like 3 million, which for a WWE show is insane. But they'll never tell you what the numbers are. I think they'll handle it. And the reason I say that is because, correct me if I'm wrong, MD, but Amazon Prime shows the NFL games on Thursday nights, correct?
Yeah. They do NFL Thursday night football.
And have you
and that I've seen have never been a problem.
Exactly, because admittedly, I only watch the Dolphin games on Thursday night, and I watch it on the local broadcast. So I've never had to watch it on Amazon Prime, but we would agree that the NFL gathers way more viewership than wrestling and any combat sports. And I think Amazon
not WrestleMania.
Yeah. Oh, come on, man.
Not WrestleMania.
Come on, man. The NFL.
Ain't no NFL game beating no WrestleMania. That's crazy.
I mean, I love the fact that you selling WrestleMania so high, but the Super Bowl is like 50 million at least. At least.
That's not a fair comparison because the Super Bowl is on regular TV.
I mean, okay.
WrestleMania never been on regular TV.
Any random cowboy game would beat that. I think you undersell because you don't watch football, so you undersell how mega football is. I think they're going to be all right as far as handling the servers. One more note that I did want to get to before we get into the main stories. Also, kudos to Triple H. I mean, because I know you guys like to shit on him, but kudos to Triple H for doing these double tapings of the shows. And the reason they're doing the double tapings is so the guys and girls could have off for the holidays. Vince McMahon would never do that. And we'll get into Vince McMahon plenty tonight, but that's the reason they've been doing the double tapings, just so the guys can have holidays off. We know historically in wrestling, Thanksgiving and Christmas are when they run those shows because they know they can get a lot of money off of that. But Triple H is like, nah, we're going to get these guys, some time off. So kudos to them for that. I got no problem with that. I think actually
they have a history of killing them So now they decided, okay, we need to scale back on it. Now, if they would have had that in the 80s, maybe a lot of these guys would be around today. I'm just saying. Yeah, just your guy Mark Robinson said. Your guy Mark Robinson said some people need some killing. Just saying.
Who is Mark Robinson?
That's
He's
your
talking about
African
the guy from North Carolina.
Oh, that's my. That's that ain't my guy. That guy. Hey,
which by the way, he is a Super Duck nominee.
Hey, well, that guy, I was okay with him at first, but then when you start going into all that other stuff, I'm like, oh man. And lastly, you guys see me with the AEW shirt on. The reason I'm wearing the AEW shirt, so we have the end of the year awards coming up, and I admittedly, because I like to be as fair as possible, I may have only watched AEW for maybe the first quarter of this year, so I, in good conscience, can't put anything they do outside of Will Ospreay on the list of any type of awards because I haven't watched anything they've done. I can't tell you one thing that they have going on their TV, just with the exception of they've been getting their ass kicked by NXT every week.
Don't they got a pay-per-view this weekend?
I think so, but again, I don't. Apparently, somebody's supposed to be fighting somebody from some reality show.
Oh hell!
Oh, that's horrible, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Full Gear is this weekend. I believe.
I
think I've seen that card. That card is horrible, man. It's horrible.
All I'm saying is this: my last Dolphins shorts that I've been posting. I've been posting one every day this week. Drew more than what AEW gets in the building, and I'm not making that up. It's well over 2K. My last post, AEW can't draw 2K in the buildings for their shows. So,
well, the latest video was really embarrassing. That's on social media right now. I've never seen nothing that bad before.
You talking about the arena, right?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, oh my god! When they pan around, oh my god, it's really that serious.
So Brian Alvarez, which Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer's an AEW show. I wouldn't say Alvarez. He at least calls them out. Alvarez said that they should start running smaller buildings. Like I'm talking about like small, because they're running these 10,000 seat arenas and they're getting 1,500 people in the building. They need
center stage in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They need center stage.
Yeah, they need to go studio, man. They just need to go studio and do TV tapings. At this point, what'll it hurt? At least you'll have a hardcore fan base. Go ahead.
No, why can't they do Daly's Place?
I mean, they could, but you would treat it as if it was a studio show. You could definitely do that. Tape it just like TNA does. Do TV taping. Give the people there about 3 or 4 shows. You're gonna have a hardcore base that's always gonna be there. On TV, it's gonna look good because the fans are gonna be hyped because they get to go to wrestling every week. Just David's Place is fine. Center stage, like Van Cat said, that's fine. I don't give a damn where you do it. Just stay there. Don't go nowhere. Until you get to the pay-per-view.
NXT has a CWC that they run shows in every week, 200 people, but it's always lit. It just looks good. And right now, this company just needs something that looks good. Their champion is shit. John Moxley. I'm gonna tell you what. I saw a video that I got to save. Shout out to Ricardo in the building. I got a video that I got saved. I haven't watched it yet, but just based on the thumbnail, I 100% agree. It said who killed AEW. And if you listen to Eric Bischoff obliterates them every day. Like it's his mission to just obliterate them. But it said who killed AEW, and it showed the MJF and Adam Cole Devil storyline. And I can't disagree. I think after that, it destroyed them. And then I saw an interview with CM Punk yesterday. I wish I could play it, where he was like, he literally was wasting his time working with people that shouldn't have shared the ring with him. Like he just
I saw it.
Like I'm like, bro,
what's the guy's name? Rosenberg. He was doing
Rosenberg,
something.
yeah,
with
he was on
Rosenberg,
with Rosenberg. I'm like, man, bro, CM Punk though.
I actually think they were doing something for Netflix.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he was standing in front of like an old school Raw's War TV, and they had Netflix at the bottom. So I think they were taping something, but Rosenberg was there, and yeah, CM Punk said, "Hey, look, I'm wasting time, and I can't disagree with him. I can't."
He does, but he don't pull no punches when it comes to them though. Like he just it was a money thing. Like Bobby Lashley's over there now, and I haven't watched a second of it. Like because I know where it's gonna end up. You know, you put him in a feud with Swerve, and then after that, then what? Yeah.
So wouldn't it have made sense if Swerve was still the champion with Bobby Lashley coming in?
Well,
that would have been so much better.
Didn't we say that? Why did they have to take the belt off of him?
Yeah.
If Danielson was going to retire the next month.
So y'all ain't excited for John Moxley versus Orange Cassidy in the main event?
Come on, is that what the main event is?
Yeah, that's the main event. Orange Cassidy, John Moxley.
Orange Cassidy better win. I'll tell you that.
Wait, that's the main event of a pay-per-view or a Dynamite?
Full Gear.
Wait a minute. Well, okay, what is Takeshita doing?
I don't know. I just remember all I know is going to be Swerve and Bobby Lashley and John Moxley and Orange Cassidy.
At this point, I'd rather see like Moxley versus Mercedes Moné or something. Like at least that's some type of star power.
I believe it's Mercedes Moné and Statlander. I believe. I could be wrong with that too.
Okay, I could give you that. That should be good, but it's a dead brand. Like they don't. Wrestling is more than just signing every big free agent. Like Ricochet's gone over there and they blew the load in the first month. It's a dead brand. I know everybody was saying, oh, it's a WWE alternative, which it could have been, but it's not. Nobody cares about them. NXT is thoroughly kicking their ass. Like thoroughly. NXT has the best women's division in wrestling. Hell, I'll go this far. TNA is kicking their ass. Have you seen the audiences at the TNA shows? Full buildings.
Yeah, TNA is hype. TNA got some momentum behind them right now, and rightfully so. They got some good wrestling over there. And like I said, they keep it low key in regards to their shows, and they tape them. Now they do some light traveling here and there, but you can get away with that when you're running mom and pop hot dog stand. You can get away with that.
TNA never said, hey, I'm gonna go compete with the big dog. They did
it 2010.
Well, that's when they had Hulk Hogan, though. That's when you have a star like Hulk Hogan, then you could smell yourself a little bit. But TNA at this point is like, hey, we know what we are, we know who we are. If WWE says, hey, let us borrow Joe Hendry, let us borrow what's the muscle bound girl? Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank.
Jordan Grace.
Over
Jordan
40.
Grace. Hey, anything will get us a rub. You could send us just random jobber X and we'll take it. It's fine. TNA has, and I just heard the other day that Scott D'Amore was at NXT. So who knows what's going on with that?
Yeah, he's probably going to be in the ID program because he got his own promotion now.
They've already signed like 3 people to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
TNA is not the ones that guy was snorting cocaine. Right?
No, that's NWA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is completely fell off the radar.
Yeah, I don't even know. They were supposed to be on CW. What happened?
Which is unfortunate because it's history behind. I don't understand why one of the AEW. Why is AEW not working with a company like NWA? to
Triple
bring
H
prominence back to the 10 pounds ago. I don't get it.
Triple H should buy that because they have Nick Aldis, and he was like their best champion over there, the NWA champion, and just do something with it. It's yeah, I agree. It's unfortunate, man. But so let's get into a story that I wanted to get into last week, because everybody in the wrestling community owes this man an apology. So let's hear this out.
We are hoping that with that, we will get the money back that he owes us at some point.
Now to Nina, where a local nonprofit is going public with a story of a pro wrestler who they say took payments for an appearance and then never showed up. Now more organizations are saying they've experienced the same thing. Your Nina neighborhood reporter Darby McCarthy went to Jake's Network of Hope to learn more.
Do what you love and you never work a day in your life, and that is true here at Jake's.
Jen Harper is the Director of Development at Jake's Network of Hope. She says she loves how rewarding her job can be by helping underprivileged families and other nonprofits every day.
At Jake's here, we only have 5 full-time staff, and then we rely on about 8,000 hours of volunteer time a year.
But in April, this nonprofit encountered something unexpected. Jake's decided to put on a wrestling event fundraiser hosted by Lawrence University.
One of my old coworkers is an ex-professional wrestler, and he's like, hey, I know a guy. Like, are you interested? And I was like, yes, we are.
They booked names like Billy Gunn, Vampiro, Tatanka, Brian Pillman Jr.,
and then Jacob Fatu.
But when the day came, Jen says Jacob called out.
Jacob called and said that there was a family emergency. We gave him the benefit of the doubt. At Jake's, we are 100% about family, and I said, if you can't make it, that's fine.
Jen says all she asked was that her nonprofit be reimbursed for the money they spent booking him and for the plane ticket.
We rescheduled the flight that he missed originally, and about an hour after that flight took off, we were made aware from him that he wasn't coming. After that, he ghosted us. He ghosted the production team that puts together the wrestling show, and he ghosted the person that booked him for us.
Jen says she and the staff at Jake's initially planned to keep quiet about the whole ordeal until they saw posts on social media from other organizations saying Fatu had done the same thing to them. But some good has come of it. Jen says that a major name from Jacob Fatu's wrestling family heard about the incident, and though that person does not wrestle anymore, they reached out to offer an appearance at Jake's wrestling fundraiser next year.
It was kind of really out of the blue to get a phone call from somebody of that magnitude to say, hey, what can we do? How can we help?
I reached out to Jacob Fatu at the numbers provided by organizations who had been in contact with him. He has not responded to requests for comment on the situation at this time. Reporting in Nina, Darby McCarthy, NBC 26.
All right, so now everybody, when this story came out, just obliterated this guy. Now, I remember when I saw it, I was laughing. I'm like, man, Triple H will make this right. So I dug a little deeper because I wanted to see where this even came from. This story came up from a post off of Reddit back in 2023. So this happened in 2023, but somebody on Reddit just decided to randomly throw this post up. And naturally, the wrestling journalists, they don't check anything. All they do is just run with everything. Oh yeah, let's run with him. Let's tear down a man's character. And it was weird. I was wondering why Fatu wasn't responding. He wasn't responding at all. It's kind of like when people talk shit about me on YouTube, I just let them talk and I don't respond. And then I eventually just get upset and then I obliterate them. But that's neither here nor there. So this comes from Reddit. In 2023, Jacob Fatu received a payment from Jake's Network of Hope. That's where we are. Fatu was paid $2,600 for his appearance, plane tickets, hotel accommodations. The Bloodline enforcer canceled his appearance before citing family emergency. So now the takedown on Sports Illustrated. So this is coming from Sports Illustrated. Again, this isn't me making stuff up because I don't do that. I go dig deeper. They spoke with Jake's Network of Hope, Jen Harper, on Tuesday, November 5th. So this is this year. So now after this happened in 2023 and this person on Reddit went and re-uploaded the story and tried to make it seem like it was something new, now Sports Illustrated reached out to this person that we just saw in the video. That video is not a recent video. So on Tuesday, November 5th, for updated information regarding the nonprofits incident with Jacob Fatu. In short, Fatu paid the full amount back in June, but the PayPal payment wasn't noticed. So everybody been bashing this guy for
June of what year?
June of last year. He paid it back. It was paid back in 2023. The guy didn't notice it. So now here's a quote from the guy. I missed the payment that he sent over. So when I was on the phone with WWE, they're like, hey, here's the date he made the payment. I was like, oh God, I didn't even use that email address that was associated with PayPal again. So we're bashing this guy for nothing. So here's a guy like trying to save face. I use Venmo. So I went back and looked, and my boss was right next to me, and I'm like, oh, I do have a balance here. So again, everybody vilifying the guy, and just because he's not saying anything, because I'm like, so apparently they contacted WWE because I was saying, hey, this guy's in the biggest angle in the company. WWE will make this go away. It's $2,600. They'll literally make it go away. And I was even offering just give them the New Day to go show up and shake some hands at the thing. But this was already taken care of, man. There's nothing to see here. Again, but this is how stuff gets started. This shit happens. People go dig it up and now trying to make this man look bad. You know, like he flaked on them. He gave them the money back. He gave them back the money. But everybody's, oh yeah, let's run with it. Let's make Fatu look bad. Because he finally got the WWE. He's in the hottest angle in the company. So now let's bring him down. Because that's what everybody do. When people get on top, let's try to make them look bad. So what you guys got on that? I don't even stay too long on this. And oh, by the way, before we get into that, he reached out to them in May and let them know he was sorry for not making the appearance. So he and then they even comment, we wish Jacob Fatu well as he embarks on his WWE journey. We wished him the best of luck. So again, man, this is like really nothing to see here, and I'm kind of annoyed that the way they just jumped all over this guy, and the fact that he wasn't saying anything, said like, oh yeah,
that's his issue, isn't it? He didn't say that.
Does he have to? He paid him.
He had to, because
Why?
the ladies on the thing stating
what
she had believed. Huh?
That was an old video.
I understand that, but it was still at the moment that she made it. It was real at that time. It still was a real thing. So I don't know. And then he doesn't say anything. So yeah, you kind of, you kind of look here. If somebody said something that ain't true about me, I know it ain't true, and I'm just simply say, no, it's not true. This is what happened.
Why you dignify with a response though?
In this age of digital that we got with social media, you could put one sentence to kill it. And he didn't do that. Now, maybe he's so big right now in WWE that, you know, he stepped on people and didn't even notice it. You know, like it was insignificant because he's dealing with bigger things right now. Maybe that's the case. I hope that's the case. But if he knew that all this chitter chatter was going on about this issue and didn't say nothing about it, or didn't just squash it himself by just saying, hey, this is what happened, boom. He didn't do that. People were going off of information that at the time, even a lady making it, she didn't have any malicious intent. She was just going by what she had believed to be true at the time. And it still's a real thing. It's his issue. It's his issue. I mean,
so now, Venkat, now you were saying he should be fired.
Yeah. If all of that was true and whatnot, hell yeah, he should have been fired. Hell yeah. That's not a good look, man.
So
people have been fired for less. Come on, Trevor.
MD, what say you? I want to get back to the fire thing though, but what say you, MD?
Yeah, I didn't go that far. I said, he should be taken off TV, based on the information that I knew about it at the particular time. I mean, yeah, man, there's water under the bridge, bro. It ain't that big a deal. He paid it. It is what it is. I'm trying to figure out what what was the infrastructure looking like as far as you not noticing it on the PayPal account. You use the Venmo. I mean, that's kind of crazy. But I can agree at the very least with Van Cat on it, especially when the WWE got involved. You would have thought from a PR standpoint, some type of public response would have been, because they do it all the time. So for them to at least not do that, to at least clear up what's what, that I can't gain grounds of that. I gotta agree with Van Cat on that, because they do stuff like that all the time, despite whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent.
How many times we see Vince McMahon go out in the press? I saw Vince McMahon go live on TV on the Today Show after Benoit's death. He just going out there just deflecting and saying all the things he got to say, with or without information.
They do press releases about insignificant stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man.
I would at least thought they would have did that.
I think you get. I think when you get into that, then we give the like the wrestlers, they give the media too much power, man. Like they could literally just make up anything and force you to have to respond. I think his silence spoke volumes. Like he just like, I'm not the bad guy in this situation, because a lot of people were saying that he flaked out and he didn't really have a family emergency. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. So I'm not even gonna sit here and try to say.
And what about and remember what the report said? They weren't gonna say anything about it, but once they saw online there were other promotions dealing with that same issue from him, that's when they said, okay, we need to be vocal about this.
So where are those other promotions though? Because I don't know,
they don't get into that, but I'm just saying they had a motivation of seeing the same bad behavior be repeated multiple times. So that's what made them go. So again, Jacob Fatu may not be as innocent here. But again, if it wasn't a big deal, if it was a simple explanation, you got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got all these outlets, you got the WWE's website, for God's sakes. Just put the goddamn thing out and keep moving. He's so busy crip walking with that fake injury, his bitch ass could have done something else instead of doing all that. We did all that to avoid meeting Roman Reigns.
I saw a video, and obviously it was older. It was an older video. I saw a video on Twitter of Jacob Fatu. He was sitting on a stoop somewhere with a pack of Newport. Smoking. Has anybody seen that video?
No, I haven't saw that.
I'm a post it. I'm a post it when we get off.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just think I get it. Is where we are in society now. Is everybody got a camera in your face? Everybody could turn on a microphone and start talking. So I guess I'll concede to that. It may, but then here's my thing. So now, obviously, he paid the guy, and the guy didn't see it. So now Fatu comes out and like, hey man, I paid the bill. What's everybody gonna say then? Because you still got these people saying he didn't pay, even though he did.
Once it's proven that he did, then I mean, anybody pushing the issue is just a hater, and they're just looking for trouble. Those people are insignificant. But I'm just saying, at the point that it was a really real thing at that moment, and not all the information was out, but he just let things fester and just got out of control. And that's not a good look for WWE. You know how WWE is. They're just like Disney. They just like Disney. When some kind of controversy happened, they panic immediately. Oh, we're going to fire Hogan. He said the N-word. Immediately, scrub him off the website. They do things like that all the time. So why would you?
Because they're a media platform. They got to do it.
Well, I don't think they do that now. They did that under Vince. But even when you had the Tiffany Stratton thing, you remember what happened with Tiffany Stratton, where she did the TikTok slapping Jade, and like I guess the voiceover was like, you bitch, or something like that. Everybody was going crazy about that, and they just was like, hell, nothing to see here. Oh yeah, okay. She said you black bitch. That's what it was. and they was like, well, shit, nothing to see here. Let's make her win Money in the Bank. I don't think they're like that anymore, where they're just like everything they want to give off this persona, like they're this squeaky clean company. I think now, and it could be just me, like it seems like they're embracing their bad boy side. And what I forgot to do, I need to do a weekly Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, what did they wear this week?
Did they embrace the bad boy side when they got rid of Odyssey Jones?
Well, I don't know what the hell happened. Well, no, come on now. Odyssey Jones
I get it. But it's an allegation nonetheless. It's nothing proven and otherwise.
Yeah, but the Odyssey Jones thing was domestic violence, and I think domestic violence versus not paying a random person for an appearance, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just saying, people got real quiet when they realized that he already paid the money back. That's all I'm saying. So it's just funny how we do that stuff, man. Like,
well, CM Punk says the apology should be just as loud as the allegations.
As the disrespect.
Yep.
Yeah, like we be vilifying people out loud, and then when they come back, when they found innocent, you're like, oh well, he's probably But yeah, Ricardo, man. Yeah, just see them on SmackDown and Raw. Just go look. So let's it's now time for our weekly Tape Fist Politics Stash / Wrestling with Reality segment, because news broke today. And I know this is a Tape Fist Politics subject, but I saw it today and we had to talk about it, especially with the allegations in our main story. So this is just a doozy here. So President-elect Donald Trump names former wrestling executive Linda McMahon as his pick for education secretary. So when his last presidency, she was the head of the SBA. Now he named her the head of education. So this comes from where the hell did I get this one from? This was NBC News. So President-elect Donald Trump has chosen Linda McMahon, former WWE executive, head of the small business, the SBA, during her first term as Secretary of Education. If confirmed by the Senate, McMahon will lead a department Trump has vowed to restructure. As a fierce advocate of parent rights and a supporter of school choice, McMahon, 76, holy crap, she's older than Vince, co-chairs Trump's presidential transition team and has been a major donor to his campaign, contributing over $20 million to the MAGA Super PAC. She previously served on the Connecticut State Board of Education and made 2 unsuccessful Senate bids, also spending the most money ever. The education department, with a $241.6 billion budget and 13,000 employees, has been a target of policy shifts under Trump. He opposes Biden's administration initiatives like expanding LGBTQ projects and student loan forgiveness, pledging to reserve these and defund school promoting critical race theory and transgender ideology. McMahon, who has criticized diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, chairs the Conservative American First Policy Institute. Trump has also announced additional cabinet picks for the institute, including Howard Luttrick for Commerce Secretary and other key roles. So, all right. So Linda McMahon, failed Senate run twice, failed marriage to Vince McMahon, just plain looking 76-year-old white woman is now.
Say it right, Trevor. Mediocre 77-year-old white woman.
I was going to say, I normally say average at best, but not even, just plain Jane as you want to be. Is now by all intents and purposes the head of the education department in his thing. So they asked her what qualifies her for this, and she's like, oh yeah, I got a master's in education, blah blah blah. Come to find out, her master's is in French.
Wow.
So again, here we have Trump is literally just So now you guys would know this best, because I know he wants to revamp the education system, and now they're saying that she's against inclusion programs and stuff like that. So what is his overall thing on this? Because he picked her for a reason, because she is like right on his side with everything. So what's your guys' thoughts on him picking her? And hell, when is Vince going to get a cabinet position, since he's picking everybody?
Go ahead, MD.
Well, I'll say from a credential standpoint, she obviously has it because she has experience on a state board, not even a local board. So the experience part, I can get with. The fact that she's going to be a crony for what Trump wants to do for the Department of Education is the problem. And that's exactly what she's going to be, for all intents and purposes, the top cop when it comes to what the education system will be across the country. And just like we talked about yesterday with the DEI, the white reparations, she's going to be the one going across the country, making sure DEI ain't happening. And if it is, white reparations, quote unquote, like Van Gant said, that's just a fact. From the higher levels of education all the way down to kindergarten. So that's what it is. And she may just be there to facilitate the ending of the department altogether. You got to keep that in mind. You know what I mean? So
that's what I wanted to get at, because I read where he wants to get rid of the Department of Education and give the power back to the states and let them handle it, and let parents be able to send their students wherever they want, things like that. So on the surface, he's trying to make it seem like it's a good thing, but obviously there's some underlying issue there.
And keep in mind, she comes out of the wrestling industry. She ain't got no problem getting rid of nobody because she's been through it her whole life. So it ain't gonna be an issue. So I mean, hey man, the clown car keeps getting loaded up.
So, and again, I didn't catch all the TFP yesterday because I was in and out doing other stuff. So you guys didn't touch on this, did you? Because I think this
it broke right after we got off. It broke right after.
Okay, because I saw John Pollock talking about. I saw it pop up on my timeline about 1 o'clock, and I'm like, oh crap! I wonder if they know about it. Let me throw it in there. So Venkat, what do you think about this? And now I want to get back to the school board. I got a thought on the school board, why they're doing what they're doing. But what's your thoughts on a McMahon back in the cabinet?
Well, like you said, why not just do Vince McMahon? He just seems to don't give a goddamn about who he puts on there. If you're gonna put Matt Gaetz on there, who's graping, shout out to Merv, who's graping all these young girls 17 and under. I mean, why not put McMahon on there? And then the other thing is, how many celebrities / clowns, court jesters do we need in an administration? It seemed like the only qualifications are, do you like me? And have you been on TV before? Because everybody's coming from some facet of entertainment or is a known entity. There's nobody that's here that's known for doing the job or being in the business of running government in any shape or fashion. So we have a bunch of weak, untalented, and underqualified people running the United States government. Now, this could be on purpose, making certain departments fragile, making certain departments inefficient. I mean, I just don't think that that's a good thing. And it's going to come back to biting us in the ass when something major happens. We couldn't handle COVID, which was just something you just needed to have distance and common sense stuff to just keep COVID at bay. We couldn't handle that. What happens when the next thing happened? This is just buffoonery at its finest. Linda McMahon has no business being next to government. She was rejected by voters twice in a bad way, not even close. So I don't know what the hell she's doing here.
Shout out to Hassan Tahir in the building. So again, let me say something real quick. So I've been mulling back and forth, man, because I'm tired. Like, I'm emotionally drained and mentally drained, which is why I'm taking off the month of December. I'm like, oh my goodness, is all this stuff really? It doesn't matter what we do. But when I see stories like this, I'm like, yeah, you know what? The fight has to keep on going. Whatever problems me and YouTube are having, because I'm having a bunch of them with them. I'll get it figured out, hopefully. But yeah, the fight had to keep going on because people had to be made aware of this. So the education and nobody even brought up the big ass elephant in the room. She has a friggin' SA lawsuit being complicit in SA against her and her ex-husband.
Yep.
But now
hell, that's a common theme, though. It ain't no one to bring it up. Hell, everybody got an SA claim.
That guy on the Fox News, it came out this past weekend that he has one. So, I mean, my God.
So let me ask y'all, because again, I'm black and slow. I'm the man with the microphone. What happens if they get rid of if they defund the Board of Education like it seems like they want to do?
It's just going to affect black people.
It's going to affect black people the most. And if I'm abroad, it's really going to affect low income communities, no matter the color. Because what does the Board of Education do? You got a lot of dumb people that don't even. Again, this is a common theme. People are stupid. These people believe that the Board of Education somehow is teaching kids just stuff. The Department of Education don't do curriculum. The states do that. Department of Education is there for the funding of the schools. You're making sure that the school lunch program is well funded, making sure that facilities or whatnot. This is what Department of Education does, facilitating certain aspects of, I guess you would say, a social atmosphere. That's part of DEI, which we talked about last night. I got my own thoughts about DEI, but I can't deny the fact that it's there. These are the things that Department of Education. This is the stuff that could possibly go away. So you're talking about no funding for kids to get school lunch. No funding for that. Tim Walz ran on the fact that his state was able to give free lunch for all kids. The reason he was able to do that because of the funding from the Department of Education. That's where they get the money from to do it. So if you get rid of the Department of Education, no more lunch for no kids. That's just a fact.
And at least in Florida, I don't know about other states, but at least in Florida, a lot of kids, man, a lot of times the only time to eat is right at lunch, man. And
that's their only meal of the day.
Some schools do it in the summertime when the school out. They still giving out lunch.
Our school started doing that, especially during COVID. They would they'd offer lunch. So damn, man, we'll get to the Ring Boy stuff, but
the other thing too is Trump was outright denying that. Oh, there's no Project 2025 agenda. I have nothing to do with that, even though a lot of these people were connected to his first administration and the people that he knew. He had nothing to do with Project 2025. And here we go out the gate. He ain't even sworn in yet. And what is he talking about? One of the main parts of Project 2025, get him into the Department of Education. I mean, if you don't know, you've been swindled at this point. And again, at this point, 2025, Donald Trump will be in politics for 10 years, a decade of destruction. How the hell do you not at this point have an opinion, an educated opinion about how he is and what he does? And two, in general, we've seen what he's about. All his failures, all his lies, all his deceptions. So to come into this election thinking that you were going to get something, he promised a wall. Where is it? So now you're going to put the faith on him cleaning up immigration and all this other stuff? Come on, man. Now I sound like Joe Biden.
So my favorite TV show of all time is Twilight Zone. I think it's just the greatest show ever made, the original series. and it's an episode on there. Well, the remake, when they brought it back in the 80s, there was an episode on there where they gave these kids a test. Like every time they got to a certain age, they gave these kids a test. And there was this one kid who was like exceptionally smart and everything. And they were like, oh man, he couldn't wait to take the test. And they came and got him to take the test and everything. And then, you know, you got to wait for the results. So his parents waited by the phone. He got the results, and they called and they were like, we're sorry to inform you, but your son scored exceptionally high on the test. Do you want his remains shipped back to you, or do you want us to take care of him? And bro, like I see that. So basically what that test was, they needed to keep the people a certain way, and they had to get rid of all the smart people. That's why they give them these aptitude tests at a certain age, and they get rid of them if they're too smart, because then they could form a resistance and overthrow the government. I know that's my conspiratorial stuff, but when I hear stuff,
you exactly right.
You right on.
You spot on.
You dead on, man.
When I hear stuff like this, and you're talking about, I always say on Man Talk Monday, in order to kill a breed of people, race of people, you cut off their ability to reproduce. You also cut off their ability to learn. My wife was listening to this, and she was just like, man, what about the kids with disabilities? Because that's what that does. It gives funding for those kids to get special needs classes, man. And I know,
as a matter of fact, one of the main reasons, well, I ain't gonna say main, it was part of the main reason. When Jimmy Carter created Department of Education, he thought about that particularly as far as disabled and special needs children. You get rid of it, what happened to them? They just throw them away like we do the rest of society's mentally ill. That's a fact.
So we put faith in a guy, an orange guy, that once upon a time had a damn university called Trump University, and it was, through the lawsuit we found out, was a straight up fraud. So knowing that history of this guy before becoming president doing a scam like Trump University, now we want to believe that he has these crocodile tears and he's so concerned about the youth and the kids of the future, and he's going to do this to help the American people. And one of the things that hurt American people, aka whiteys, is that DEI. How the hell does diversity and inclusion hurt anybody? Come on, man. This is ridiculous. We putting faith in this clown guy who has shown time after time at the end of the day what it's all about, and it's not about you.
And
well, I'll say one last thing about the Twilight Zone point. That was spot on. We didn't talk about it last night, but the guy in Oklahoma, the superintendent in Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
Blatantly
violating
the Constitution.
Yep.
Buying all these Bibles and putting them in the Bible and put them in the classroom.
Oh, but what about the video?
Yeah, make it. Yeah, well, he ain't make them, but praying on the video or whatnot, putting it in the school.
Making people watch
violation. Blatant violation of the Constitution. If you get rid of the Department of Education, that makes that null and void, because then the state constitution would supersede the federal government, because there is no government acquiescence to what facilitates that civil right, which is freedom of religion. If you get rid of the apparatus that's there to protect that right, then you can do stuff like put Bibles in the school and make Muslim children and Asian children
feel alienated.
Jesus.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm gonna send you guys that episode on Twilight Zone. It's on YouTube. It's only 15 minutes. I like I say, Twilight Zone is the best show ever made. If you watch that now, everything that they did in that is happening right now, with the machines taking over, the artificial intelligence, just everything, man. It's crazy. But then to make matters worse, you throw a McMahon on top just to oversee everything. Like, if worse couldn't get worse, you throw a McMahon on top of it, like Linda McMahon of all. Which Linda McMahon, I'm gonna say right now, Linda McMahon might be worse than Vince, because Linda at some point probably had the power to stop Vince and just sat there and let him do everything. She created that monster. And when we get into this Ring Boy scandal, you'll see why I say that. She created this monster, and now she back, I don't know, but all right. So let's get into the Ring Boy scandals. Trying to put this Ring Boy scandal stuff together was a nightmare, because you got to go here, you got to go there, and these people say there's nobody ever said anything concrete. So I got a couple outlines, I got some videos and stuff, and then we'll just go off of that and get home. But the main thing, so the background of the Ring Boy scandal in the early 90s, allegations of sexual abuse emerged within the WWF when senior officials were accused of exploiting young male employees known as Ring Boys. These boys were responsible for setting up the wrestling rings at wrestling events. And now the main allegations, the Ring Boys allege that they were sexually harassed and in some cases assaulted by the WWF officials. The scandal gained national attention after media outlets like the Phil Donahue Show covered the story, increasing pressure on the WWF to address the accusations. So now let's get into the monsters of the week. The key figures. You have this guy. Now, I heard Venkat last night say in the closing of Tafis Politics that he remembers this guy. I do not remember this guy for anything. I do not remember this guy at all.
I remember him very well. I remember his voice. I remember everything. It's just weird that he would be. Oh my God! It's just weird to me.
Hey, you know what's funny? Sometimes when I hear stuff, when I hear like certain stories, like with mass, shooters and stuff like that, I always be like, man, please don't let him be black. Please don't let him be black. Please don't let him be black. And 9 out of 10, they're not. But when I first heard this, I'm like, man, please don't let him be black. Please don't let him be black. And then when I saw who it was, I'm like, come on, man, who is this guy? So this loser is Mel Phillips. Oh, and just so you guys know, when it comes to kids, everything's off limits. So I don't pull back with what I say about people. Y'all hear how I say about Chris Benoit and stuff? It's worse when it comes to people messing with kids. So just so you guys know, you've been warned. Mel Phillips, a WWF ring announcer and talent coordinator, accused of inappropriate behavior with underage males, including harassment and exploitation. Allegedly, Phillips would seek out young boys from disadvantaged backgrounds. So predatory, grooming. So here's some pictures. Like these are pictures that they confiscated in the case.
The case, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously the faces are blotted out, but you see Mel Phillips sitting on the back of the car. All these are the young boys that he's getting to help do the ring. Like, yeah, I look at him. Like this guy is. We got to bring light to this stuff, man.
Is that a bottle of liquor in his hand? What's that?
Yeah, it's got to be liquor. And that cup is liquor. So right then and there, you have alcohol around a minor. And he's just all chummy with him. It's just like, bro, this. I'm telling you,
he
man,
actually posed. This is how oblivious. He sees that there's a picture being taken, and he posed with it. Well, here, right here.
Bro, this is, man. I'm telling you, man. When I was doing this, I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna go good. So look at this. Oh wow! Like look at this. So
I mean, he's just bold with it.
So now this is a foot next to his mouth. So the rap on him is he loved feet. And as we're going to hear later, I hope I got it in the video. I don't have the one with Tony Atlas, which Tony Atlas pissed me off too with what he said. Tony Atlas was like, everybody knew who he was, but nobody wanted to say anything. Tony Atlas, you could beat everybody's ass in real life. Whoop his ass. I think everybody would have been okay with you beating the shit out of him. So
well, maybe he felt like he would get repercussions from like people like Vince and stuff like that.
Man,
but I mean, that's not a reason to not do it. I mean, if you're gonna lose your job, that's the way to lose it.
That's the reason to lose it, because you're protecting the kid. Like, look at this. You don't, bro. I got a daughter, and me and my daughter don't wrestle. I mean, it ain't nothing that is nothing crazy, but this is a kid he don't even know. This is just some random kid. He's like, hey man, you want to just help put up the ring? And look how he's laying on him. Like, bro, this is a picture. That boy, they say a picture is worth 1,000.
Put him in the STF.
Yeah, he got him in the STF, man. A picture is worth it. And to these kids, so and they say in the reports that he sought out kids that probably didn't have a dad. Just have the mom around and like, oh man, I'll take them, teach them how to do something, make them a few dollars and stuff like that. Naturally, especially back then, the mom is going to trust you. The mom will be, oh yeah, sure, go with your Uncle Mel. Shout out to Bones in the building. The mom will be like, oh yeah, go with your Uncle Mel. He'll take care of you. He'll take you to the arcade and get you some ice cream. Meanwhile, Uncle Mel is trying to have his way with little Johnny. This shit is sick. Look at, like, so now he's taking pictures at the ring. So they're legit putting the ring up and taking them down. Again, these are some old ass pictures, so that's why they look so grainy. So now we have this next loser, which I didn't even know who this guy was. Terry Garvin, the senior official, also accused of harassment and making advances towards young male employees. Now I heard, so the rap was always out on Terry Garvin that he was away. So that was no secret there. So the next culprit we have here is Mr. Royal Rumble himself, Pat Patterson. Again,
what a piece of trash.
Again, Tony Atlas. Hey, he used to grab my dick. What? What? Again,
so casual.
Yeah.
They go to 80s for you. Hey, in my time, that's what we used to say.
Hey,
we weren't snowflakes.
When the Vince McMahon documentary was watching, they showed Tony Atlas on the screen, and she was like, "Is his sleeves cut off of his shirt?" I was like, "Yeah, man, because he's showing off them guns." She was like marveling at how big he was, and I'm like, "Yeah, imagine back then how ripped and jacked he would. He would have kicked anybody's ass." And he's just, "Oh yeah, just matter of fact, let the man come grab his junk because he don't want to get fired."
Yeah, that's pretty lame. This guy, man. Tony Atlas, it make you lose some respect for him.
And that time he was Saba Simba, so I would have wanted to be fired from that.
Just got an image of it in my head.
I don't even know what the hell a Samba Simba is. I think he was supposed to be like a Shaka Zulu ripoff, but yeah, it's just crazy. So Pat Patterson, a high-ranking WWF executive accused of harassment, he temporarily left his position during the investigation, but was later reinstated. So Pat Patterson, Mel Phillips was kind of secretly let go. Terry Garvin was fired, but Terry Garvin and Pat Patterson came back. Mel Phillips is the one that never came back.
Black.
Well, yeah, hey, man, these McMahons, man, they go far. And then the next person in there, we have one of the main victim, Tom Cole. Well, obviously there was a lot of victims, but this was the one that actually spoke out. So Tom Cole, a former ring boy who became the main whistleblower, publicly accusing Phillips and Garvin. His case prompted more awareness around the industry. So let me go here.
It seems like this story needs to be like a movie or something, because I don't think people can really gravitate to how things are. Like sometimes a movie like make you really feel like what's going on and can help put you in the moment better, even better than a documentary. because when you reenact certain moments and scenes that clearly you'll never have any kind of audio video for, when especially if it's a movie that's done well with the acting and stuff like that, you can really make a statement with this kind of material to show it, because I think a lot of people talk from ignorance in today's time, and like they're not like understanding how it was back then. Kind of like the same ignorance of how people can be dismissive. I can't believe people can actually be dismissive on slavery, especially for people that didn't go through it. But when you watch certain movies with certain performances, it really encapsulates that time and how that era must have felt, and the mindset that surround the events of the day. They should really look into doing a movie about that so people could really get, because this is something like when you talk about Vince McMahon's issues, like this is like so low because of all the stuff he's done and that he is allowed to happen. But there's a big epic story to be told there that could really make a mark, I think, in the public's eye.
This has afternoon special on it, if I ever seen one. You remember we used to come home in the 80s and wait a minute, I met Brother Fluff. These names, man. I met Atlas a few years ago. I have 18-inch biceps. Mine were smaller compared to him. So yeah, this has after school special written all over it, man. One of them where everybody in the family had to get around to watch the story. So WWE's initial response to the allegations were they made personnel changes. So amid the scandal, WWF let go Phillips and Garvin while Pat Patterson temporarily stepped down. So they fired Mel Phillips and they fired Terry Garvin, but Pat Patterson temporarily stepped away. So they also, in addition, they made a settlement with Tom Cole. WWF eventually reached a settlement with Tom Cole, although he continued to be vocal about the scandal's impact on him. They gave him $55,000. That was the settlement. So for all his so for all the fondling and everything like that, they gave him 55 grand. So let me get in a couple of videos here. Which one do I want to do first?
I mean, if you adjust it for inflation,
yeah,
I'm sure it's a considerable amount of money for that time, I guess. But you feel like it should be more than that.
All right, let me get to the Vince McMahon one first, because Vince McMahon. What did I do?
I mean, hell, not to mention also the violation of child labor laws that were taking place.
Exactly. They was all under 15.
Yeah, paying them up under the table anyway.
You know right now you can't have kids under 15 working on certain jobs for more than like 3 hours or something like that. This joker had them setting up the damn wrestling rings as nothing but wood and metal and all type of crap. So somebody
wrestling usually occurs like late in the evening. So you got kids up late putting it down. That's
I wouldn't be surprised if some of them kids spent the night. He strikes me as a guy that had one of them vans. You all know the vans that I'm talking about.
Yeah, the grape van.
Yeah, them big van. Yeah,
the old 88 Astro van.
Yes. So
with
now
the bubble in the back.
Even if you see them now, you're like, man, hell no, I'm getting the hell away from that. So let's listen to this video from Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is a friggin' piece of work, man.
This in your workplace?
I believe that there's a possibility of sexual harassment existing everywhere.
And I asked directly if it was in the World Wrestling Federation.
My organization, I don't want it.
I'd like to reiterate the question. Do you believe there is sexual harassment amongst the wrestlers or employees of the World Wrestling Federation today?
There is a possibility of that. That's why I have these independent investigators to come in.
And who are these independent investigators?
All right, so I'm gonna be stopping and starting a little bit. So this was an interview on Donahue, because Donahue was big. Donahue to me is like Phil Mushnick. Anytime something came up with WWE, Donahue's like, "Hey, come to my show." come to my show and let's talk about it. Is it great? If you just put in like Donahue Show Wrestling WWF, you'll see a bunch of great things with Bruno and Dave Meltzer when he was young and all that stuff. So this guy Murray Hodgson worked for Vince, and he was let go. So Vince is going to tell him why he let him go. Matter of factly, like this guy is just, oh my goodness, I can't believe this guy was my hero at one point, man. This fucking guy. But this is all in response to the allegations from Cole.
Facts Group Limited, and I would like to hear what you have to say, and everyone has to say. I want to get to the bottom of it.
Would you therefore believe that because of all these allegations coming forward and more corroborating evidence proving that there's no doubt sexual harassment is running rampant in the World Wrestling Federation, that you are definitely going to come public and do something about it?
Why wouldn't I? If in fact that is the case, why wouldn't I do something about it? Why would I risk what we have?
Because you haven't done anything about it until it became public, because you thought it was under
I
water.
Had no knowledge of it.
I made knowledge of it to you when I was fired, and you just blew it off and let me go. I retained a lawyer.
Because you were not very good. You were not a very good announcer. You could not. That's the only reason why you were fired. You could not make the transition from radio to television. That is the only reason why you were fired.
I would like to remind you, sir, that I have a 2-year contract. 2 years.
You also have a clause in your contract that states, and as you know, you were hired on a trial basis.
I was not hired on a trial basis.
You do not have a contract?
Mr. McMahon, I have a 2-year deal with your firm. In that contract,
you will note, in a clause that states very clearly, and I have it outlined for all to see here today, that you can be fired almost at whim if in fact you're not doing a good job. You did a horrible job. That's the only reason why you were fired. That's it.
All right, so y'all can stop me when you want to. But this guy, so Murray Hodgson is a legend, SA, which is what is funny. We've had a lot of abuse claims in the WWF over the years. Would you guys agree with me that the overwhelming majority has been like 80% men?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That doesn't come off as weird. Like, well, I okay, I'm not even gonna say that because I'll come off. People won't take it right what I'm about to say, but I'm not gonna say that. But they don't have as many women. They didn't have as many women then as they do now, so maybe that's why. But just overwhelmed every time you hear some type of allegation about anybody, any WWF official, it always has to do with some sexual stuff. Always.
Well, I mean, the head of the company being Vince McMahon, you're gonna get that. And you see, like, was there any sexual violations happening within your company? I very well believe there would be. Yeah, of course, because he's the head guy doing it. He's the one mainly doing it. I mean, in the behind the scenes, I'm sure he was graping back then too, using his position and power back then as well.
You always see how they always have this Fairfax company as their independent. Every time there's an independent investigation need to be done, they always call this Fairfax company. That's not the first time I've heard them mention that name. It's just it's very convenient that anytime an investigation needs to be done, he could always call on that company. I'd be very interested to look up that company and see.
I'm sure there's some ties with McMahon. It's probably McMahon's cousin running the company.
but he's blatantly saying, okay, hey, is there SA going on in your company? I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, just did one last night.
So, but what's the problem though? Like, what's the problem being defensive about it? It's just like with the Owen Hart thing. Oh, excuse me, do you install rigging devices? Like, bro, somebody just died. She's asking you a legit question.
Yep.
And this guy is telling you this is going on. You double down and say you agree that it's going on. Well, you didn't say you agree, but by saying you don't disagree, you're saying you agree. And it's just like whatever, nothing to see here.
It's a classic case of gaslighting.
That's that Trump playbook.
Yeah, it come out the Trump playbook, of course. When somebody accuses you of something, instead of you either defending it or admitting it, you say, well, it goes on everywhere.
Yeah.
Taking the onus off of you and broadening it to society, basically. You know what I'm saying?
What
Everybody does.
What about ism? Classic Vladimir Putin.
All lives matter. It's just that's literally what he's doing here.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
They love doing that stuff, man. Watering down what's happening.
Oh, Vince McMahon, bro.
Maybe I should point out, first and foremost, that might be your inability to pick good talent.
It could be.
You had a national talent search, Vince McMahon. Could be. You advertised in Billboard magazine and across many different media sources searching for one man that could be the new face and voice of the World Wrestling Federation. You flew me in back and forth 4 and 5 different times from Detroit, and you chose over the course of 1 year of negotiations that I would be the man for that job. I didn't sleep with your vice president. 2 weeks later, I'm fired. I also want to point out one very important fact. From your office came a letter to my landlord to verify my employment. From that letter, I must bring this point up. It says Murray Hodson has a very secure job with Titan Sports and is a positive and productive employee. From you.
Oh, that's damning. I didn't even get that. This is when I'm pulling these things, I'm just clipping through them, trying not to get messed up. But so the negotiation took a year. Who do you negotiate with for a year and you just let them go like that?
Yep.
Come on, man. Who and again, I don't remember this guy either. I don't know how long he was with the company, but who do you negotiate with for a year? He obviously wanted him, because look at him. This guy have a look like Eric Bischoff. Like, why wouldn't you, like a Ken doll? Why wouldn't you want him as like your lead announcer? Because at the time he probably had Bobby Heenan and stuff like that. You know, Vince is always trying to appease the camera. So why wouldn't he get this guy? This guy looked like, you know, he could be doing like Calvin Klein stuff or something like that. So you interview with him for a year, then you send the guy's place of residence a letter saying that he has a secure job. So I take offense to Vince saying it was performance based as to why he got rid of him, because you wouldn't. Who the hell negotiates with a guy for a year, does all this other stuff, and just let go of him like that? You give him a chance to be good in his job. Michael Cole wasn't good when he started. You give a guy a chance to, you know, to excel in what he's doing. It's insanities. And then now this guy saying, hey, I didn't want to sleep with your vice president, which I don't want to assume who it was, but we just going to assume we know who it was. Anderson.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, we know who it was. And he's fired 2 weeks later. Like, come on, man. The math ain't mathing with this one. Man. I hope y'all watching and enjoying what we giving you here. Like, for real, for real. Oh my goodness.
So you mean to tell me he swatted away Pat Patterson's advances? But again, that that lets you know, bro, what type of environment this was. Man, y'all had it bad in the 80s, man. I mean, I'm glad I was a toddler.
Oh, we got to make America great again. We're going back to those times.
Man, this shit is crazy, man. Oh my goodness, bro. And come on, man. And but we ain't gonna act like we don't know. I just don't want to say his name because he didn't come out and explicitly say it. But we're not gonna sit here and act like everything we've been hearing for years about this guy, and then everybody made a big deal about it on that Legends House thing when he finally broke down and came out and said that he was a gay man. Whoop-de-doo, that's the worst kept secret for the past 30 years. You know what that remind me of? Venkat, you will remember this when Doom wrestled the Steiner brothers. And if Doom lost, they had to unmask. And Jim Ross, just matter-of-factly, not selling shit. Jim Ross said, "Well, this has got to be the worst kept secret ever in all of professional wrestling. Who's under those masks?" I'm like, bro, you like literally just you killed the gimmick.
That's so true. That is so true, man. That is so true.
Man, wrestling, man. Good Lord.
It's messed up that, a lot of these bastards that done, these heinous things, especially within wrestling, a lot of them, no justice. Jimmy
They all
Superfly
dead.
Snooker.
Yeah,
They're all dead. They all get away. Pat Patterson died in 2020. Just gone. Like no facing any repercussions or judgment from what they did. And it destroyed a lot of lives, man. It's not right.
Oh my goodness, bro. They fired the man 2 weeks after, bro. That's crazy. Oh.
Your office. Just because I don't sleep with your vice president, that qualifies to blow me out of a 2-year deal? I don't buy it.
Right. The crowd on his side.
Said very well, but I believe untrue. If in fact these allegations against Pat Patterson, whom you won't name, are true, why not pursue the legal course, the legal recourse? Why not pursue?
We are doing that right now.
You are. And you are aware that you waited 6 months after you were let go to bring these homosexual charges against Pat Patterson. 6 months you waited. Why?
September 14th.
If in fact you were fired on the spot, if you were fired for incompetence, all right, why didn't you say right then, why didn't you say, hey, look, Vince, your vice president made a pass at me. You never told me that. No one had any knowledge. Human Resources had no knowledge of that. Rene Dubose was waiting to hear your story. Why did you wait 6 months? You asked me for $160,000 today, otherwise you were coming on this program. I'm happy you're on this program.
Mr. McMahon, do not try to deflect the truth here. First and
what are you
foremost,
asking for? How much money have you asked for?
I have never asked for any amount of money from you. You have tried to buy me off to shut up so I wouldn't come forward and tell of these allegations that's running through the World Wrestling Federation.
Your attorney should be consulted.
My attorney, on September of 1991, came forward to you with a letter addressed to you, telling you exactly what happened and that I was discharged wrongfully. I had a 2-year contract and that you two were well aware of the fact that there was a homosexual advance made against me. Don't tell me I waited 6 months. 3 weeks later, I was on your rear end.
3 months later?
6 weeks later.
No.
The only reason we waited a little longer was because you continued to try to negotiate to buy me out, and I wouldn't allow it.
The fact of the matter is, if you look into this man's past, the fact of the matter, if you look into your
I don't think we should bring up the past.
I guess not.
The issue at hand here, Mr. McMahon, is one thing and one thing only. You addressed on Larry King Live Friday. Friday on CNN, you went on and you said that I never worked for the World Bodybuilding Federation. I am on a video that is sold around worldwide.
True, your
my voice. So you told the country that I didn't work for the World Wrestling Federation.
You say you were a freelance and you were hired.
Well, of course not.
Right.
But second of all, you said you fired me. You didn't fire me. John Filippelli not only gave me the letter, but he also fired me. John felt so bad that I was being released that he allowed me to stay at his house if I wanted to and be with his family until I could find further place to live.
And that's, my friend, speaks to all of the good deeds and good people throughout the World Wrestling Federation. We're talking about 3 people here. We're talking about 3 people, and only 3 people that have brought these allegations against. We're not talking about the 300. We're not talking about all of the wrestlers and things of that nature. Let's keep some balance here.
Oh, that's the ultimate just F you what he just said. We're talking about 3 people. So he's talking about Mel Phillips, Terry Garvin, and Pat Patterson. Vince McMahon named Pat Patterson. And he's saying we're talking about 3 people, but we're not talking about the 300 people that work, that do all this good and things like that. Listen, miss me with that bullshit. Like that's
so what is he saying? He's saying that because there's so many more people doing good that we should ignore the 3 bad ones.
Exactly.
Like,
that's
if there was
exactly
one bad. That would be like saying, oh, well, there's only one Jeffrey Dahmer. He's eating up everybody. But look at all the thousands of other people around him that are good people. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. If it was one bad person, you deal with that piece of trash. What are you talking about? Like, in his mind, it sounded good coming out, I guess. But damn.
I can't believe I used to respect this guy so much, man. He is bro, he deflected. So he says, oh, the guy asked him for 160 grand or else he wouldn't come on. Then the guy flips it around and say, hey, you offered to pay me money so I wouldn't come on the show. Then Vince just shut up. So it caught him in a lie right there. It's
yeah, that guy handled himself very well. He pushed back on a lot of nonsense that Vince McMahon does. It's good.
Again, like I said, I didn't go way down the rabbit hole to even see where that guy is, Murray Hodgson. But it's just to the fact, bro. Like if you pursue somebody for a year, you're not just letting them go. You're going to give them every chance in the world. At that time, WWF was doing like prime time. They was doing All American Wrestling. They was doing the studio show. They were doing all those shows. He could have put him on a B show to let him get better. You don't chase somebody for so long and then you just like, no, never mind. I ain't want, never mind. Just
he needs to grow into the job and find his voice. I mean, that's crazy.
MD, you got anything else on that video?
Yeah, that's wild, man. Hey, shout out to Don. Now that's one good part about the early '90s. Donahue used to let folks rock.
Yes,
y'all just go at it. Hey, talk shows used to be great back then, and I think we need more of that. You know, just as a side note. But in regards to Vince, yeah, he was battling, and he knew he was battling. He knew it, and. Again, man, all publicity is good publicity is what they say in showbiz at the end of the day. If I had to shout out Vince for one thing, he could talk, even though he was talking out the side of his neck, he could talk and he knew it was going to be good for the business itself, whether it was good or bad from a PR standpoint. He knew it. He definitely knew it.
Vince McMahon is a piece of shit. So, and this is coming from somebody who spent the better part of a year defending them. So the reason all this even came up is, and I'm going out of order here. I'll go back. I'll finish off with Tom Cole last. That's the guy on the screen, just because, unfortunately he's not here anymore. But so a new lawsuit came up, which is what I brought up with, hey, Donald Trump, you're appointing Linda McMahon to your education, the head of education. Don't you see this 30-person lawsuit that's coming up against her? Like, what is this? So a new lawsuit recently came up, which was filed in Maryland under new laws that remove the statute of limitations for child abuse. Child SA claims has been brought fresh accusations. So it's just like at the end of the Vince McMahon documentary that we did part 2, where Rita Chatterton was able to go after him because in that state they lifted the statute of limitations on being able to go after somebody, and that's how she got him. So that's what's happening here. So allegations against the McMahons. The suit accuses Vince and Linda of ignoring complaints about Phillips' behavior. The complaint states they knew Phillips' conduct, and despite firing him in 1988, they rehired him soon after. Okay, I didn't know they rehired him. So the plaintiff's experiences: 5 men who were between the ages of 13 and 15 at the time of the alleged incidents described being hired by Phillips, gaining access to wrestling events, only to be abused. One of the plaintiff's lawyers, Greg Goltzler, stated there was a culture of abuse and it started at the top. And I say, if anybody didn't hear the lawyer, go check out John Pollock, man. He did a interview with the lawyer, man. There's a lot of damning info in that. So this, according to the Associated Press, a new lawsuit accuses WWE and its founders of fostering a culture of SA abuse within the organization, looking the other way while long-time ringside announcer preyed on young men he hired as ring boys. The suit was filed Wednesday in Maryland, where a recent law change eliminating the state's statute of limitation for child SA. So the complaint alleged that Melvin Phillips, who died in 2012, so the piece of shit has been gone for a good while now. 2012 would target young men from disadvantaged backgrounds and hire them as ring boys to help with the preparations for wrestling matches. Phillips would then assault them in his dressing room, hotels, and even the wrestlers' locker rooms. Very important. You can't tell me that if you're in a wrestling locker room that there's not at least one wrestler in there at any given time. Only 2 people occupy the ring. So what were the other wrestlers doing while this was going on? Don't all answer at once. Like what?
Yeah, I think everybody was complicit. Everybody. But you know, I guess you could say that it's more of an onus put on the owners, of course. You know what I mean? And with Linda, you know, specifying her, you know, in certain situations, it's always it's usually the wife, and they always looked at as like the cleanup person. You know, they got a husband that's cheating, and they got to fix a problem. Is, you know, just in layman's, it's usually them that's always looked at as like the cleanup person. Oh, you know, he did this, he did that. I gotta fix it. I think that was the situation with Linda. I think she was put in that particular position where, under these allegations, she was fixing a lot of problems from a social standpoint to make stuff like not appear. Because I don't think Vince really particularly cared, like, at all. He just willy nilly. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think Linda was the person that was facilitating stuff to go away. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion because it's a classic case of the cleanup wife. Classic case.
And I'm so glad you said that. Shout out to Graphics in the building. Been watching episodes all night. Good stuff. Venkat and the Natural Butch Reed for President 2028. That's going to be a little hard because Butch Reed is no longer here. Shout out to Anthony Mazzano in the building. So I'm glad you said that, MD. This goes to what I said earlier. I blame Linda. Vince McMahon is terrible. I'm not walking that back. Vince McMahon is a horrible person, but we all know that powerful white men always have their powerful white wife next to them.
Oh, we found that out in the election.
And she could sway things. And like you said, I'm so glad you brought up the cleaner. Like, what has gone on in that company that we don't know about because she was able to sweep it under the rug? How could you? Okay, let me put it this way. How can you run a company that has so many allegations, so many bad things have happened under your watch, and you're still allowed to run for Senate? Well, I mean, look at the guy we got for president. So
there you go.
That question, but you're still allowed to run for Senate twice, spend the most money ever, and you're now second time being appointed to a cabinet. It's like nothing sticks. And with Vince McMahon's attitude and bravado, you could bust him every time. But I think she's so great at playing that role of fixer. I don't know if you guys ever used to watch Scandal. She is the Olivia Pope of the WWF. Like, she literally could clean up any of his messes, make it go away. And they could put on face like we're the good old American family. Stephanie with her Cheshire cat grin, and Shane. It's just like they always could put on a good front and make you think like it's nothing's really that bad. And I'm putting a lot of that on Linda. She's the one who got him to where he was anyway, because remember, she was the one that had the money.
Yep.
Man, this
the more you find out, the more you know that damn meme.
And like I said, it's
put that star over Trevor head.
A lot of relationships that are high level. That's usually the case because that woman knows, hey, look, I don't want to lose the aspirations that I have, and obviously she had aspirations. He's screwing everybody. They touching little kids in the locker. Like I need to make sure that none of this stuff gets to a point where it ravages my success. So let me do what I got to do. You know what I mean? My husband cheated. Let me make sure he got protection and all. Like that. That's that type of wife. The cleaner wife. It's a classic case. She don't give a damn what Vince do. She
like
don't
that
care.
lady with Jeffrey Epstein, that lady that would go out and find other girls.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, she ain't give a damn. As long as that money coming through and it benefits me, I'm good.
What was Anthony saying? Let's be honest. Linda didn't know at the time that Vince was sleeping. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
No, she knew because if I don't know if you heard part 2 of the Vince McMahon documentary that we did, but he even said that he told her, and then he went even further and said, I don't know if it's not going to happen again. So she know, like, you can't be that type of woman dealing with that man and not know that's going on. She may not know all the names, but she knows that something's going on. Like you can't tell me she don't know anything about this Janelle Grant stuff, which they paused that case for some reason and figure out what the hell's going on with that. So the abuse detailed in the lawsuit occurred over several years during Phillips' long tenure with the organization, which is insane that I just do not remember him. Because when you talk about ring announcers, all I ever know is Howard Finkel. I don't ever remember anybody else.
I remember that lady. There used to be a female.
Well, yeah, you had random female X here and there, but I'm talking around that time.
Yeah, Howard Finkel was always there. Even on Prime Time Wrestling, he was on there.
Yeah, Howard Finkel was the first employee of the company. So he was like, he's always been there. So I
hope they don't got no dirt on Howard Finkel. I mean, how many of these guys they're gonna change your opinion on them? Like, damn, I didn't know you did.
Not the Fink. The Fink too? Damn.
Man.
Yeah. And right now I got a good image.
I mean, if we talking about just employees, you can't say that at least he was complicit. I ain't gonna go as far as to say he was doing stuff, but everybody was complicit.
All of them knew.
Like.
Everybody knew. Would you guys suspect maybe she? Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! Yeah, that broad getting her back blown out, and still loyal to her husband. But to me, Linda don't look like she like to have sex. Linda just look like somebody is like, okay, I'm gonna give you your kids, and then that's it. You don't.
Yeah, she look like she was born old, man.
Yeah, like she don't look like she ever just want to be sexy. Like it's just like, all right, here you go, knock me up. Let me give you the kids, and then you go find somebody else, bro. The man went in the storyline where he got his daughter pregnant.
Right. In the documentary, remember, she said she was with Vince when she was 13.
Yeah,
man.
So she probably don't know nothing else but Vince.
And Vince is younger.
Yeah, because she's 76.
I think Vince was sick. I think Vince is 79.
Oh, he's okay. He's almost 80. Okay, I thought she was older than him. So okay, so she's 3 years old. So he was 16 then.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So she probably haven't been with anybody else, or
probably not.
She just didn't care. I mean, who knows? She probably had some guy. Who knows? I don't know. But when it comes to the actual relationship, she withstood it because she knew, hey, look, I got a good thing going. Like this WWF thing taking off. I'm not gonna mess it up. I'm not gonna allow anybody else to mess it up either.
And then he says Stephanie is the one acting like this, who's acting like the slut. Wasn't she sleeping with half the roster? So now you know the rumor, and it's just rumor because I don't know that the reason the reason Vince and Macho Man fell out, and Bruce Pritchard, he didn't just come out and outright say it. He just was like, hey, maybe he walked in and saw them in a compromising position. That's all they say. So when I hear that, hey, I'm not going to disparage Macho Man, but I know what I got in my mind. I'm just not going to say it on the air though. So, here's the thing that I get to, and we're gonna save Tom Cole for last just because he's no longer with us and he is the innocent party in all this. Instead of the complaint, okay, so Phillips is no longer alive, so you can't sue him. I guess you could try to go after his estate. I guess, I don't know. So instead, the complaint targets the World Wrestling Entertainment founders Vince and Linda, the husband and wife team who grew the organization into a powerhouse it is today. The couple was well aware of Phillips' brazen misconduct, but did little to stop him, according to the complaint. This wasn't an isolated issue, says Greg Goltzer. This is the attorney who represents the 5 unnamed plaintiffs. There was a culture of abuse, and it started at the top. Let me see. Okay, Goltzer said the plaintiffs finally found the strength to come forward and sue Vince after McMahon resigned from WWE's parent company, TKO. He resigned January. So now they're just going back into the Janelle Grant stuff. Okay, so an attorney representing McMahon, Jessica Rosenberg, denied the latest abuse allegations contained in Wednesday's complaints. In a written statement, she referenced New York Post reporting from the early 90s, saying the recent lawsuits asserts the same false claims. We will vigorously defend Mr. McMahon and are confident the court will find these claims untrue and unfounded. The statement reads, emails were sent to Linda McMahon and her organization seeking a comment. Attorneys for the other defendants aren't yet listed in the online court records. Emails seeking comments were sent to WWE and TKO. Let's see. So now it just goes. Okay. No, he gave free. Okay, the lawsuit, WWE gave Phillips free reign to use highly public WWE personality and image to incite. Okay, so the lawsuit goes on to say that WWE alleges that the WWE leaders gave, which Vince and Linda, gave Phillips free reign to use his highly public WWE personality and image to entice local kids. So it's literally the guy in the Ford Econoline van pulling up at the bowling alley or the local arcade. Hey, you're the guy on wrestling. Hey, you want to come work for me? You get all the ice cream you want. That's the character he gives off. Like, that's literally the character he gives off. It alleges the McMahons fired Phillips in 1988 because of the abuse allegations surfacing at that time, but they rehired him 6 weeks later. So they didn't fire him. They literally, hey, let this blow over. Linda McMahon, who stepped down as the company's chief executive in 2009, later led the Small Business Administration under Trump. Okay. So Vince McMahon's attorney, Jessica Rosenberg, denies the claims as false. And the impact on the new lawsuit, the case is also testing Maryland's new law eliminating the statute of limitations for child SA. The Maryland Supreme Court is reviewing this constitutionally, which could impact the lawsuit. So let me see. So that's pretty much it with the new allegations. So my question to you guys: they're suing Vince and Linda, which they should. But they're also going after the WWE and TKO Holding. So now here's the slippery slope.
Oh, that's not right.
Oh God, I can't believe Venkat. Okay, I'm ending the show. I can't believe Venkat agreed with me. I thought Venkat was going to say go after them. I agree.
No.
I don't think that's right at all, Venkat, because there's nobody that working there now. Well, Bruce Pritchard. There's nobody that works there now that would have had anything to do with that or would have been close to them, with the exception of Bruce Pritchard.
But the company is still there, so why wouldn't it be right?
No, the company is not theirs.
No, I didn't say theirs. I said there. It still exists. And
but it's a different environment, a different mindset, a different
that don't work in the legal world.
Literally the name is different. This stuff happened in WWF.
I don't agree with that, MD.
That don't go. That don't go. The environment. Go ahead.
No, but just real quick, think about this. If somebody got hurt in your house 10 years before you bought the house,
No, that
then,
no, that don't work.
No.
That don't work.
You buy
Exactly.
the house, and now all of a sudden they trying to come after you. That's crazy.
don't
They
work.
can't do that.
That don't work because
they're under new ownership.
That's not a correct interpretation. See, you focusing on the person that owns the house and not focusing on who built the house. That's the ultimate. If that house got lead paint in it and you buy it, you're not gonna sue. Well, you leave and somebody else owns that house. You're not gonna sue those people. You're gonna sue the people that built the house. I mean, that's legal 101.
But you're already suing the people that built the house. So why you gotta sue the new owners of the house?
Yeah, why you gotta sue the house? Like that's crazy.
No, it don't work. It don't work that way. Don't work that way. Not in the legal parameter. It don't work that way. So I mean I'm not saying that I don't agree or disagree with it per se, but legally it is what it is, man. These are private entities, bro. Whatever happened in said house, you got to deal with it.
I don't agree with that. And Anthony, I do think he is. I think he got a little buy in him. Absolutely. I don't agree with that, MD, just because he has nothing to do with the company anymore. It's not his. If I'm not mistaken, he sold all his stock. I doubt she has any stock in the company. They don't even acknowledge him anymore on anything.
So hold him accountable. You already got him.
He got the money. It's not like he don't have the money.
Yeah, I mean, hey man,
you don't think that's piling on to be like, all right, well, Vince is a billionaire. Linda let's not act like Linda don't have no money. So you're going after Vince and Linda. Now you want to be extra greedy and go after TKO. TKO has nothing to do with this. It's not the WWE anymore. It's TKO Holdings.
The name of the game is to pile on. I can't hate on that. I can't do it.
I don't know.
you can't tell that to the lawyers.
That's the only thing in this that I'm like, man. And I thought Venkat was 1,000,000% going to disagree with me, but I'm shocked that he agreed. That's the only thing in this that I think is kind of gross. I feel like it's piling on.
What? Now, well, I got a question going back to the actual parameters of the lawsuit. So, the lawsuit was filed in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I want to know: are they going to base the actual civil case on what happened in Baltimore? Because obviously they ran shows in Baltimore. So, can they only present a case about stuff that happened in Baltimore? I would like to know that, because they said it was 30 people.
Yeah, well, I don't think that they could go outside of Baltimore, because Baltimore is where they're lifting the statutes of limitations. There's no legal recourse. There's no legal recourse.
I didn't know if they were doing it in a circuit court or was it like a state court. Also, I want to know, were all those 30 boys from Baltimore, or were they trafficking them from state to state?
Oh boy, that's even more. More charges.
There's some trafficking going on, because they ran the tri-state area the most, but they were everywhere. They were in Pennsylvania. They were everywhere. In the 90s, they were a traveling circus. They were going everywhere. And if he was with the company from that long, that's he was with the company from 1970. That's crazy. And I don't ever remember seeing him. And I started watching it in 85. I don't ever remember seeing him at all. But he's been with the company for that long, setting up the rings. You're talking about breaking down, setting up rings in a new city every single night. So there's no telling.
It's probably hundreds of victims. Hell, maybe thousands
of people. There could be hundreds of people.
Some people are going to be ashamed and not really want to speak out. They just want to leave it past, just leave it in the past.
So Anthony says there's no legal recourse for the families of the people who were involved in the scandal to sue TKO either civilly or criminally. Or crime. They could sue Vince, but not TKO. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they could sue TKO. I really don't think they can't sue. TKO literally has nothing to do with this.
Like I said, hey, tell it to the judge. That's all I can tell you. You know what I mean? I believe that it's almost like a domain type of situation. That's just me. I'm no lawyer or anything. I like to call myself a legal, but I'm just a Negro off the street. I believe there is some type of domain opinion as it pertains to the case itself. I believe that.
Real quick, just shout out to True Graphics. Trevor, you know True Graphics. He used to be on Wrestling with he was in the early episodes of Wrestling Reality, and he was on Wrestling Wednesday. Yeah.
Or Top Cat or something like that.
Yeah.
Man, hey man, what took you so long to get over here? Hey man, peace. Anthony says, I have a friend who is a civil litigator, and he said what the families can do is actually file in the DC Federal Circuit Court. But again, Maryland, DC, it's strictly going to be there. So anybody else, they'd have to open up a new civil case in any other city. And then I think the statute of limitations would come into play there. So let's get into Tom Cole, and then I got one more video, and then we'll be out of here. That was faster than I thought. So Tom Cole central. Tom Cole, central to WWE's early 1990 Ring Boy scandal, has died at 50 by suicide. His brother Lee Cole reported. So Lee Cole is on YouTube. I don't know his YouTube channel, but he also was on Post Wrestling. They interviewed him. So I just got a couple of excerpts of what he says. So he says, my brother Tom committed suicide a couple of hours ago. Now, naturally, this is years ago. He didn't just die this year. So this is from Lee Cole. My brother Tom committed suicide a couple of hours ago. Sorry. Vince McMahon and his wife Linda let child molesters into their company years ago and did everything possible to cover up what they did to my brother. I hope you can sleep well at night, Vince, while our family suffers. Thank you. Lee goes on to blame Vince and Linda, accusing them of shielding child abusers in their organization. Tom's tragic story began in the mid-'80s when he joined the WWF as a ring crew member recruited by Mel Phillips. Cole viewed Phillips here we go. Cole viewed Phillips as a father figure due to his troubled family life, but alleged Phillips engaged in inappropriate behavior. So again, his mom, probably single mother, obviously, he no father figure. You see this guy coming around. He's like, oh yeah, I could teach him a trade and blah, 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 blah. There you go. Because back in the 80s, you just give your kid to anybody. Cole later claimed that WWF executive Terry Garvin also propositioned him. I heard a big thing about Terry Garvin. He was fired in 1990, which he attributed to Terry Garvin. So Tom Cole was fired in 1990. He says because of Terry Garvin. The allegations went public in 1992, leading to widespread media coverage. Both Phillips and Garvin were dismissed from WWE, with Phillips allegedly rehired on the listen to this one. So oh boy, Vince McMahon. So both Phillips and Garvin were dismissed from WWE, with Phillips alleged rehired on the condition he avoided minors. That's where we draw the line. So
Vince McMahon know.
Exactly.
He knows everything that's going on.
Exactly.
And what was the reason? What was the reason behind them rehiring him? He had to have some type of dirt.
He got some dirt on them. It's exactly, MD. It's like, okay, what Shawn Michaels said it best in his promo. He said, if I'm going down, everybody going down with me. Hey man, you gotta listen to these promos. They be dropping a lot of jewels in these promos, man. They be telling everything that's going on backstage. He literally, that had to be it. If I fire you because you're messing with kids, I then hire you 6 weeks later and tell you, oh, here go your slap on the wrist. Just stay away from the kids. Come on, man.
Yeah, his job ain't that significant. Like, he was the talent coordinator I guess the talent coordinator would be like he was booking travel for the rest of the whatnot. I'm assuming
he coordinated getting the ring set up. Anybody could do that.
Yeah.
And he was the announcer in the same company that you got Howard Finkel. This guy, I never heard him a damn. I don't know who he is, but I could bet you anything he wasn't better than Howard Finkel.
No, he was no. The Fink is the man. He's the best. Well, I like him and Gary Michael Capetta. I always have a thing for Gary Michael Capetta, but yeah, Howard Fink was the bomb, especially when a title change.
Yeah,
nobody can hype you up better. And new, oh man.
So wait, Anthony's saying, my friend said, actually, if they file in DC Circuit Court, it only covers Maryland, and the DMV area covers the states around it. Okay, so yeah, so they're gonna have to go to other states. The DC Circuit Court only covers Maryland and the DMV. It also covers the wider North Coast. All right, so accusations against, so they rehired the guy, just told him, hey, stay away from kids. Accusations against executive Pat Patterson led to his resignation, although he returned later and maintained his innocence. So Pat Patterson, like, all right, I don't want this heat. Let me just resign. He resigns. He comes back, and we laud him as the greatest booker of all time, which bothers me now because when we had to do these shows and I had to start reading stuff, and I get away from just watching matches. That's kind of not what we do over here. I don't just watch matches. Now I have to go look and be like, oh my goodness, look at what this guy did. And now it made me look at what I love so much in a different light. And it kind of made me turn in kind of like a curmudgeon, kind of like what I don't want to be. But I'm just like, man, we laud and we applaud this guy for creating the Royal Rumble and say that he's the best finish man in the world. If you ever listen to Stone Cold, he don't stop singing his praises about being the greatest finish man in the world. But nobody ever says all the nasty shit that he was doing. Nobody ever talks about that.
The big cover up.
And again, that goes to my whole thing about Chris Benoit, but I won't do that. We all want to just remember, the good stuff that he did. He was such a great wrestler, but not paying attention to the big glaring thing in our face. What he did, the last thing we remember him for. Normally,
that wasn't, he wasn't doing that like all those years. Friggin' Pat Patterson and all these jackasses, they were doing it for years and decades.
Well, not for nothing.
Over and over.
It only take one time for what he did.
Yeah. So he could have been a serial killer. You never know.
So accusations against Pat Patterson led to his resignation. All right, but he maintained his innocence. Cole eventually reached a $55,000 settlement with WWE, which included his rehiring. He was later again dismissed in 1993 and later filed a lawsuit for harassment, discrimination, and breach of contract, though it was ultimately dismissed. So
what the
hell? So he sued them. Piece of Vic in the building. So Vic is saying they just want money. So they sued him. He sued them. He got $55,000 settlement. They later rehired him, and then they fired him again, and then he sued him again for discrimination and breach of contract. Who knows what the contract was? So Cole largely remained out of the spotlight publicly. So this is where it gets slippery now. This is because you always have to watch a person's habits. And I'm going to play this video from Linda. So after Cole was fired again and he sued him again, and his lawsuit was dropped, Cole largely remained out of the spotlight, but publicly supported Linda McMahon's 2010 Senate run, expressing gratitude for her handling of his case. And this is quoted from Cole. I can truly say without hesitation, I'm thankful for how Linda handled my situation. Without me going out into the world and finding myself, God knows where I'd be.
The cleaner.
So let me see.
Well, those words don't really mean anything after you done deleted yourself.
So So the two alleged harassers he continued were fired for their actions and never returned to the company. So that's Terry Garvin and Mel Phillips. That alone is okay. So this is still what Cole is saying. So okay, so I read that wrong. Okay, so God knows where I'd be reads the email that he sent. Okay. The two alleged harassers he continued were fired for their actions and they were never returned. That alone is more than most companies would do now, let alone 20 years ago. So he's saying most companies now wouldn't do that, let alone 20 years ago. I'm sending a check to Linda's campaign fund this evening. She is, after all, my favorite type of politician, fiscally sound as a lifelong Republican. I hope she wins. That comes from,
well, he's a dumbass.
That comes from Tom Cole. So after, let me see who's MD felt. Wait, what's going on? Oh, what's up in my mouse?
He'll be right back.
All right. So so Venkat, now you hear that. Wait, Benoit with Vince. Can you separate the artist from? No, I can't, because we do it with Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson had the same accusations. So I say with Michael Jackson, to the best of what I know, Michael Jackson was never found guilty of anything.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's what I can say with that. And I know it may sound crazy, but Michael Jackson was never found guilty of anything. We know what Benoit did.
Right.
We know for a fact. So that's how I could separate the two.
Yeah.
If you can't now because he's gone, but if Michael Jackson was still alive and it came out that he was guilty for what he did or whatever, then yes. Well, what he was accused of doing, then yes.
He was accused of giving kids Jesus juice.
Then we'll have an issue. So
yeah.
So Venkat, now he sues them. He gets a settlement. He comes back to work. He's fired again. He sues them again and fails. Then later on in life, he's like, oh no, Linda McMahon is a great human being. My favorite type of human being. He didn't say that about Vince. Let's let the record show. But he's singing the praises of Linda McMahon. So what do you think about that?
So I'm wondering if Linda may have gave him some money just under the table, outside of court. I wonder if Linda McMahon may have had a conversation with him that he may have felt was heartfelt or something. Because, she's a female, so she could come at it at a different way than the roided up Vince McMahon would come. He's more intense and insensitive, and where she could appeal to his other side here. So I don't know. Maybe I don't trust Vince. Linda McMahon. I think she could turn it on and off, and I think she could manipulate. Maybe he fell for what she had there, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about this guy, but this guy seems like he had a bunch of issues anyway, and maybe not have been in his right frame of mind with all the troubles he had going. And you could see his final thing was to self-delete. So, take his words with a grain of salt. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, MD, you back?
Yeah, I'm back now. Yeah, bro. That goes to my point. She's a cleaner, bro. She probably gave him emotional support and all that stuff, and probably throwed him a few dollars here and there every now. She knew what she was doing. She knew it. I need to do what I need to do to make this go away. And that's what she did. To the point where he developed not necessarily Stockholm syndrome, but he developed it's almost like good cop, bad cop. You know what I'm saying? And she played the role of the good cop.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. I think I think she came to him so motherly, and because obviously his dad wasn't there, which is why he sought a father figure in Mel Phillips. And now who knows what happened with his mom, But now here you have motherly looking Linda to come back and be like, oh no, Tom is okay. Don't worry about it, and rub his back and stuff like that. This is just friggin' gross, man. I got one more video to play. Let me see. Venkat with Vince. Okay, so I answered that one. Graphics says WWE was never seen as a clean industry on any level, but look at the 30 or 40 years these deepest, darkest secrets have remained buried. Yeah. I mean, and you know, so I often criticize like the wrestling media and stuff like that, but if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't know about a lot of this stuff. And now we get the, you know, report on it. So I got one more video from on Tom Cole, and then we'll put a bow on this episode. Let me see. All right, so here we go.
22-year-old Tom Cole was hired as a ring boy for the World Wrestling Federation when he was 13 years old. For the next 3 years, he says he was sexually abused by his supervisor, Mel Phillips, who Cole says has a foot fetish. And Cole says there were other abusers besides Phillips.
I was grabbed on numerous occasions in my testicles on my.
I don't hear any sound. Is that me?
Patterson of the World Wrestling Federation.
The sound is on YouTube, but since we're on StreamYard, we can't hear it.
Have sex with him. When I refused, I was let go from the company when I was 16, and then I returned again when I was 19. I was let go again because I refused Terry Garvin's advances.
So Cole hired a lawyer and ended up with a $55,000 settlement to cover lost wages. As for Mel Phillips, he was fired from the company. But Cole's family says firing Phillips wasn't enough, and they were at the Stamford headquarters today demanding justice.
I would like to see Mel Phillips put behind bars where the hell he belongs. Because he's a child molester, the man. It's enough for him just to step down from his job. He's walking the streets, he's molesting children. The man should be put in jail.
World Wrestling Federation President Linda McMahon says an outside investigator concluded there was no evidence of Phillips molesting employees, but the company fired him anyway.
First, he was put on suspension pending investigation. And the investigation was taking so long, there was so much negative happening with it that we finally told Mel that it was better for him and better for our company for him to go on in a different way.
McMahon doesn't deny Phillips had a foot fetish, but she said it had become a joke and was blown out of proportion.
You call a man filming your feet for hours at a time and playing with your feet and making you cry when you're only 13 years old and recording it for his own sexual purposes. If she calls that normal, then obviously there's something wrong with her also.
McMahon says she took a personal interest in Cole and tried to send him to counseling, encouraged him to get his high school equivalency, and finally offered to put him through Westchester Community College with a promise to come back and work for the company if he passed all his courses. She says she was greatly disappointed when he did none of the above.
We took an opportunity to help a young man who, for whatever reason, seemed confused, he seemed troubled, and wanted to have an opportunity in life, and we felt that we could help him.
Cole says McMahon's efforts were not out of personal interest, but for personal gain. That's an issue the courts will have to decide. In Stamford, Allison King, News 12.
So, wait a minute, MD, you didn't hear that?
No, I couldn't hear anything at all.
Did you hear
it? Well, you can't hear it on StreamYard here that we're looking at it, you know, as we're participating on StreamYard. You can't hear it, but I'm on my TV on YouTube and I can hear everything. It played.
Wait, what you mean? Why wouldn't you be able to hear it though? If he's on the panel,
yeah, that's the thing. Heard of that.
No, even Mike talked about the same thing. That Mike does something. I forgot what Mike said to do. When you're on the panel, you might not hear certain videos when it plays, but if you watch the stream on YouTube, you'll hear everything. It's fine. I was listening to the whole thing on my TV, but on my phone when I'm talking to you guys right now, I can't hear anything because I'm on the panel. But Mike, I gotta ask Mike, what is it that he had said again? But there's something he does that he can hear when you play a video, because sometimes the audio goes out.
Oh man, that's so. Did y'all hear the? Wait a minute, but
yeah, I heard it. Yeah, they talk about him having a foot.
But I'm saying the Murray Hodge and Vince McMahon. Y'all heard that one?
Yeah. But this one we didn't hear. Sometimes it happens, and I can't remember what Mike said to do, but
oh man, that was the whole like finishing thing. Damn.
but
So
I agree with that lady. He did need to go to jail. They're just gonna fire him. Linda McMahon talking about they were waiting pending the investigation, and it was so negative that she had to go ahead and just say, hey, you need to go your way because it's not doing any favors for our company and it's not doing any favors for you. So they fired him, even though they said they had a independent investigator. Yeah, I mean, I heard all that, and yeah, it's fine.
but you hear, damn, that's shitty. That I want MD to hear it, man. But so you know what the crappy part about it is. So damn, this is part I wanted you to hear where they were saying that he just had like a foot fetish, like they were down.
Yeah, I heard that part too.
Like it was
Yeah.
just a foot fetish,
and they're blowing it out of proportion or something like that. You say, yeah.
And so now Tom comes back and like, hey, you got a guy that's videotaping
for hours at a time.
Hours.
Now who's staying there for hours at a time for some guy?
Yeah, I mean, bro, it's crazy. And Linda told me she offered to put him through school, you know, with hopes that he can come back and work for the company, you know, after the fact. That's, man, I'm telling you, man, Linda McMahon is yeah, and she ends it off with less part because it don't look, you know, it's not making us look good. Well, I'm telling you, man, Linda McMahon is evil as Vince. Like she's literally
she co-signed everything.
Yeah, she's a co-conspirator and everything. I don't think a thing happened in that company that she didn't know about.
Right. You know, it's funny when you first see her on TV, on WWE. You're just thinking, she's not really that involved. She just happened to just be the wife. Nah, she's pretty involved in that company, and she has a lot to do with it. It's crazy.
Man, just another dirtbag bimbo. Oh my goodness. So Mel Phillips, the real disgrace in this. You know, Vince and Linda are still alive. You know, best case scenario, we could hope that they get taken to the cleaners for this, but who knows what's going to happen. Mel Phillips, Terry Garvin, Pat Patterson, they're no longer here, so they can't face any justice, especially Mel Phillips parading around with the pictures of the kids, just grinning and smiling like everything's okay, nothing to see here, enticing little kids, trying to groom little kids, you know, taking advantage of little boys that come from broken homes, probably just to fulfill your stupid little foot fetish and God knows whatever else you did to them. And he got to live his life and just nothing to see here. And I think I read something that said he got like $300,000. So he literally got to just walk away scot-free.
Yeah. And, you know, they got rid of him. They fired Mel Phillips in what like the early 90s?
93.
Okay. Because I believe I could vividly remember. I believe he was the announcer for Royal Rumble 89. I keep seeing him for that one. I'm gonna have to look Royal Rumble 89 up to see.
Yeah, I gotta go back and look at that.
Yeah, because he was always around, but I vividly remember him being on Primetime Wrestling, and he would be announcing a lot of those matches. There's some of the times when they were like, you know, when they would just do those house shows in like the Boston Garden and stuff like that. I remember him being there. But yeah, I think the biggest thing I can remember him being on is Royal Rumble. It might have been 88 or 89, maybe 90. I don't know. But I remember him so well. I was like, my God, that guy did this. Sheesh.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate world that we live in, man. And you know, I'm hey, you know, I see the error of my ways a lot of times. I'm guilty of saying, hey, why now? You know, when all the women were coming after Bill Cosby and stuff like that. I'm guilty of being like, hey, why now? Why 30 years later? But you can't.
Ain't no time limit on this stuff,
you can't
man.
tell a person. You can't tell a person how long it takes to get over something. I mean, it could be. Some people say it's a money grab, like Vic is saying it's a money grab. Hey, you know what? And if it is, why not? Get your money.
But they always say that, though. They always say that when somebody's victimized. Like a victim can only have their day in court without money to be legitimate. That's crazy. That's crazy. You got to pay a price monetarily and otherwise through the law. I don't understand this victim shaming business that goes on. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Mel Phillips can't pay the price. I mean, I don't. Let me see what his cause of death was. He can't. Yeah, he can't pay the price because apparently, from what I've read, he lived a good life. Like he just,
probably molested more people.
Yeah, he
right. So let me ask a question. What was Leonard? Because like I said, I didn't hear the audio. Was Leonard trying to rationalize?
Yes.
What Mel Phillips was doing based on his feet fetish?
Yes.
She tried to downplay the feet fetish. She tried to downplay.
So basically, the reason why it was young boys is because he had a feet fetish, and they feet are not. They ain't got calluses or cracked heels or nothing like that. You know, it's fresh feet. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
Hey, check out the Menendez brothers on Netflix. Speaking of molestations and whatnot.
Yeah, I do want to, because I didn't watch. I didn't see anything on Netflix, but I watched something on YouTube where they were like, they interviewed one of them and they were telling them of all the abuse that was going on and stuff like that. And they're trying to get I guess they're trying to get like a retrial or something.
Yeah. A lot of people on TikTok, a lot of younger people on TikTok are like pushing a movement to have their case looked at with some fresh eyes. I will say that after watching,
that's another case of complicity with the mother.
Yes.
The mom.
Oh yeah, the mom is ridiculous. Yeah, the mom is ridiculous. But they got two things on Netflix. They got the Monster series, because the last time they did Jeffrey Dahmer, now they did the Menendez brothers. It's shot very well, like great cinematography, and it's well done. And then they also have a documentary, real life documentary, as well on Netflix. It's pretty interesting. You can see like it's good to see it because I feel like they have a valid defense, but the way they went about it, they did some things that kind of undermined their innocence. They got a lot of lies, a lot of inconsistencies, but they do have a valid thing there. But it looks bad when you put the lies with it. But it's funny, Donald Trump lie all the time, and like none of that stuff gets put on his neck. Oh man, yeah, check that out, man. Everybody should look at that. It's pretty good, man. Especially that the shooting scene. My God, those angles.
Yeah, I know Netflix does a lot of good documentaries. I love watching that type of stuff, man. Especially that when you hear, you figure they didn't just go in there and do that to their parents for nothing. Like there was, because again, you can't tell somebody how to process something. And when like you could sit there and let stuff fester for a while, and then you're like, all right, let me just snap on them, and then stuff happens, and there you go. But
hold on, wait a minute, Craig. I know you just didn't say what you just said. You said you can't tell anybody how to process something. Yeah. Benoit is a scumbag, and you hope he burn in hell and all that.
That's different.
That's a total contradiction, Trey.
That's different because
what do you mean that's different?
Nancy and the son didn't do anything to him. That's totally different.
Now the son, yeah, I give you that, but you don't know what him and Nancy was going through.
Oh, here we go. Because now I'm listen.
I could just imagine that woman yelling at him.
You know what? I was so frustrated last night because I saw a video on Twitter and I sent it to another one of my groups, and the fact that some of them were in there condoning it so heavy, like it literally just made me second guess everything I ever known in my life. I'm gonna send you guys a video and see exactly what you think, because I kind of feel like y'all gonna agree with it just based on what you just said about, with the whole Benoit thing. But no, okay. And you know what? I could be irrational as I don't know what. He'll never get grace from me. Never.
It's not right, Trevor. At some level, you gotta like understand like that mental part, the brain injury part. There's got to be some part. I mean, it's messed up. We're not saying he's okay for doing it. No, it's just messed up and wrong. But it's not just one answer. It's not just one straightforward way of thinking about it. There's multiple things going on with that. But I could understand how you could get to that point. I understand it. Hey, you got to watch that Menendez brothers, man, because talk about some conflicting stuff. You need to see that. It'll have you going up and down like a roller coaster. And there's some tough stuff that happened in there. When they started getting on that stand talking about what that dad did to him,
it's a series, or
it's a docu-series. I think there's 6 episodes.
Okay, this is another long one. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think I can't find anything that Mel Phillips suffered in any type of way, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, he's a piece of trash.
Yeah, again, I always say if there's a hell, hopefully these guys face their judgment in it, because God knows how many people they ruin, how many boys they ruin, and then this guy, off himself.
See, but he ain't took a chair shot to the head multiple times for decades. He didn't do a diving headbutt off the top rope for year after year. So Mel Phillips ain't getting no type of grace.
Yeah,
I don't remember him putting on the crippler crossface on nobody. So he ain't getting nothing.
Yeah, those guys, man, they especially with me, when you dealing with kids, is one thing, like you do stuff to adults or whatever, and I'm like, all right, well, you got these big burly wrestlers, they should have whooped his ass. But when you're obviously taking advantage of wayward boys, kids, no, man, you got zero grace for me, and I just don't care. I don't.
And you got one of the biggest wrestlers in the back talking about he's a real American, fight for the rights of every man.
Yeah, where was Hogan? Like where was Ultimate Warrior? Where were these guys?
Yeah. Yep.
Like where were these guys, man? Was this
in the 90s? Trailer, brother?
Undertaker was there. Like where were these guys? That should
Undertaker was resting in peace.
It's just weird. It's funny. Trump at the UFC show came out to American Badass, and at the end of the when John Jones won, shout out to the GOAT, greatest MMA fighter of all time, he gave his speech, and I'm like, oh my God, you're about to make me hate you so much. He was
what did he say in the speech?
Oh my God, you gotta go look it up, man, because obviously can't play it here. But he was just gushing over Trump, and he was like, oh man, shout out to the president and the thing. He was doing the Donald Trump dance, and he let him hold a belt for like 10 minutes. And he was just like, now it's great to see America be restored. Now we got a Christian boy. Hey, he put heavy emphasis on that Christian thing. I am telling you, when you if you don't think Christian values sway stuff, They love it, man, because he was just like, oh my God, I want to give. If you don't know Jesus, I thought he was about to do an altar call. He's like, if you don't know Jesus, you better get to know him as your personal savior. But I'm glad that you know what, it almost sounds as bad as
might have to know him after they finish with the Christian nationalism. We're gonna have to.
You know what it sounds like. I don't know if y'all remember, there was a time when George Bush was in office, Junior, and they were doing, I guess, like a town hall meeting. And this little four-eyed punk was like, this is the first time that I feel God is in the White House. That's what it reminded me of. Is the way John Jones was carrying on. I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. Like, but the UFC, they love Trump. He's always there, so they love him. But like, to see the way they were just deifying him, and the way John Jones just destroyed Stipe, and he's just like doing the Trump dance and letting him hold a belt, and he's just like, good, strong Christian values are back now. I'm like, what
value? Overthrowing the government?
I'm like, what Bible y'all reading out of? But it's just, that's what I'm saying, man. People, my old pastor used to always say something, and I'm gonna end right here. My pastor used to always call people chinos. He said, "You're Chino, Chino, Christian, Christian
name only,
Christian in name only." And that's what most America seem to be. They so quick to push these Christian values, and I want Bibles in schools and things like that. You put Bibles in school, so what? What is that going to do?
And Trump, of all people, you're going to say Christian values? Really? Like, that's just absurd.
It's because the Christianity is tied to a certain identity. That's all it is. Let's keep it real. That's all it is.
White. Yeah, because the first thing the KKK tout is they Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
they want to know on a Bible to try to legitimize their nonsense.
Yeah, because they go to that scripture that say slaves obey your master.
No,
that's what they use to justify it.
All the more reason why.
Yeah, but hey, man, I thought this was great. I mean, obviously we're not gonna get everything, but because there's a lot of work to go back and read all that stuff. But MD, what you got coming up, man?
Bro, I'm just stopping my truck. I ain't got nothing coming up.
Hey,
I got work coming up. That's what I got.
Listen, they changed our work hours, so now that's why I had to start everything so late. Now they added an hour, so they added an hour to give us half a day on Friday. But the problem is, I'm a salary employee, so I don't get the half a day on Friday. So in addition to the extra hour, I'm still working the time on Fridays. Now I can leave if I want, obviously, but technically it's not for me to leave. So I've been working. That's why I've been doing all my shows starting at like 6:30, because I've been working so damn late. I be coming home like dog ass tired. So I need a break.
I ain't complaining, man. Because like I said,
I'm not complaining, but I get you.
I'm on the brink hitting 100. I ain't complaining at all.
Yeah,
so
I'm complaining.
I feel you, man. But I don't think these 40-hour work weeks and stuff like that is for the birds, man. The more I do it, I realize we not built to do this. We're not built to do this.
Go talk to your brother Venkat.
I don't want to agree with Venkat, man.
Bernie Sanders say 32 work week, same pay.
The work week used to be 25 hours.
What do you mean?
No, work week used to be 25-hour work weeks back in like the 60s or 70s. Yeah, it was 25 hours.
Man, what kind of work 40 hours. 40 hours.
No, it wasn't always 40 hours. You know why? Because I was MD. You know who told me that? I didn't fact check. You know what? I didn't fact check it.
That's not right. 40-hour work week is like almost 80 years now. We've been doing 40 hours.
Blue told me that. You remember? Because me and Blue was going.
That's where you messed up at.
me and Blue was going to debate on like hard work and stuff like that, because he was, he big on you don't get nothing through hard work and stuff like that. Because
it's true.
I
It's
tout
true.
hard work. And he was like, no, well, the work week used to only be 25 hours and stuff. I never went and looked it up either. I don't know why.
That's not true.
FDR created the 40-hour work week. That was in the 30s. Hell, it used to be 80 hours and you're 11, 12 years old.
Yep.
That's what it used to be.
Yep.
It's crazy, man.
Until those progressive got in there and turned it around.
Employment is a new slavery. Yeah, because you spend more time at work than you do at at home, just doing shit with your family. Ricardo, I got a month off. I definitely take every bit of that. And I try to take, at least in addition to my month, I also take at least a day off every month, just regular. Just be like, hey man, I ain't coming in. So I do that. I've learned to just I'm not doing it, man. Overwork myself. If I get too tired, I tell my boss, like, hey, you need to get somebody else in here. I need you gotta give me a younger person to come do some of this heavy lifting so I don't have to do it anymore. And they oblige. I'm there.
You got an office?
I got an office, but I don't.
You're telling everybody else what to do, man.
I don't be in there. See, the problem is though, we so busy. There was a time for like a year and a half I didn't do one thing. That's when I gained all that weight, because I could just sit in my office and do nothing. But we got so busy now that me being the good boss that I am, I don't want to overwork. I don't want to overwork my guys, so I'll go out there and help them. Like I'm just out there literally helping them. That's where we are. Thanks, Biden. That's where we are with that, man. It's crazy though. Like I can't wait for next week. We got 4-day weekend.
Yeah, I'll be off all next week. I'll be off.
Yeah,
they trying to push everything out before the holiday with the scrapping. So I've been hauling ass.
And that's what our customers try to do. They check because they trying to push things back because they don't want to have to pay that final bill at the end of the year, make their books look good for next year. So they're kind of like halting stuff a little bit, but we getting ready for the rush for next year, so we're not behind on anything. But yeah, man. What's today? Today's Wednesday. So like I said earlier, I don't know if Venkat heard me, but I had canceled the Survivor Series preview show because it's the day before Thanksgiving and I'll be doing something. But definitely that Saturday is Survivor Series, so we'll definitely fire up a watch party.
Well, I try to. Is it in America or not?
No, I think the show starts at 6.
Oh, okay. Well, I can be there. Yeah,
Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is in Canada. Yeah. So the show starts at 6. So the war games will probably be about 8:30.
Okay, that's cool. That works.
That's all I'm doing it for is the war games.
Yeah, I just can't make it for the overseas shows because it starts at 1, and I'll be still at work at that point because my schedule changed. I'm not off on Saturdays anymore.
Man, I'm so glad I got the same schedule for 20 years.
Hey, so let me ask you, Trev, when are you gonna start listing out the categories?
I put the thumbnail up for the show. I got you know what? See, I'd be lying if I told you I'd do it this weekend because I'm not. We'll start getting it early December.
All right, cool.
I already know who the feud of the year is.
But I'm CM Punk is, well, no, let's act like Tay-Fist politics, like we don't know who the super dog is. Let's just do that. But we, I'm telling y'all, my nominee is not going to be AEW heavy at all, with the exception of Will Ospreay. Because Bones kind of got on me real bad when I told him that I wasn't putting nobody from AEW on the list, and he was like, "No, you said Ospreay was the best wrestler." I'm like, "Yeah," but then I had to break it down to him how I view wrestling, and he was like, "Oh man." But no, I definitely got to put Ospreay on the list though, because what I saw from him at the beginning of the year, he entertained the hell out of me. So I mean, they can't put no asses in the seats, but he entertained me, so I got to put him on the list. So I do have that show scheduled for the first after the January 6th episode of Raw, which will be good because we'll get to review how the January 6th episode of Raw is. Tay-Fist Politics, y'all got not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday.
Yep, December 3rd.
December 3rd is the Super Duck episode. We got one more episode of Man Talk Monday this Monday for the year. Then December 5th, I got the debate of all debates, Stacey Mobley versus brother Ashra Kha. Will there be slavery in the kingdom? But oh my goodness, we're bringing out the old slavery debate.
Will there be slavery in the Trump administration?
they talking about will there be slavery in the kingdom of God? That's the craziness.
Yeah, that's that old one. You know that's a One West debate.
Yeah, he's definitely a one West Israelite. So I can't wait for that one. I made every concession they wanted, like as far as the time and all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'll just reserve that. I'm gonna stay up late that night because we just gonna have to do it. And then I think the MMA brothers have two more shows, like December 8th and December 10th, and then that's it. We'll go on a much needed break and be back fresh for you for January. So, but stay tuned to Beyond the Scoreboard. I have been dropping those Dolphin shows. And I appreciate everybody that's been checking out those shorts. My shorts have been doing. It's crazy. So many people want to hear me talk about the Dolphins. It's crazy. Like the interaction I get on that is insane. Just 1 minute
football, bro.
Yeah, just 1 minute clips. Just clip. And it'd be the craziest takes too. I literally had a take about Calais Campbell. The Dolphins could have had him in 2008. Is already north of 2,000 views on it. Like that was the one that everybody was like, oh shit, yeah, this is a fire ass take. My take on the Power Driver return, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, this is a fire ass take. So hey, it's crazy to try to see what works in YouTube. But man, y'all, I'm done, man. I'm just nigga babbling now. My daughter been out here about 4 times already. So y'all go ahead.
I'm gonna eat. I'll see y'all, man.
Get your clothes out so we can get out of here.
Hey, I'm going. Right. I'm good.
Check out Tay-Fist Politics, December 3rd, Super Ducks, spectacular. We're going to find out who is the duck of all ducks. This 2 weeks from Tuesday.
Hit me up if you want the spoiler. What Paul Heyman say? What Paul Heyman said, this isn't, what he said, it's not a prediction, this is a spoiler. Yeah. Let me tell you, I can't even do the voice. True Graphics. My voice starting to crumble on me now. Gobble, gobble, gobble. So, man, yeah, Venkat, man, it's been real. I thought this was a good show. And to you guys,
it's great and much needed.
Yeah, to you guys is new over here. This is kind of what we do. We don't really break down the week to week stuff anymore. We'll do the pay-per-views and stuff, obviously, with the watch parties and stuff, but the weekly shows are more about like topics like this. We definitely going to get into the Chris Benoit thing because MD really want to break that down. I want to go over the Bruiser Brody stuff because I was watching something the other day and that came up and I'm like, man, nobody ever really covered it in full detail how I want to hear it. So we're definitely going to the Bruiser Brody and a lot of other scandals, man. So y'all stay tuned, man. Just support the channel, hit the like button, share the videos. If you feel inclined, join that membership for $1.99, and I'm done.
All right, peace, Trevor. Wrestling is full of scandals.
Yeah, I mean, man, we could fill out a whole year with this shit, man. Oh man, Straight Talk Society, man. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for those of you watching over on Twitter, man. Y'all come on over to YouTube. Stop playing around. Come on over to YouTube. Chat with us. Let us know what you think about the show. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. I am out of here. I will see you guys Monday for Man Talk Monday. I'm tired. I'm done. Peace.
And the bitch now the whole world can acknowledge me.
You'll get the shit. You'll be knee deep